Windows.
Window World's windows are easy to clean, energy efficient, and have the best guarantee in the business.
Window World's slogan is simply the best for less, and we mean it. You get great American-made windows, and you get to keep more of your money when you buy from Window World. Need any more reasons to buy your windows from Window World? Call them today and set up your free in-home estimate, or go online to windowworldneflorida.com.
Window World, simply the best for less.
Thank you for your business.
Window World also offers energy-efficient doors and siding.
The flagship station of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
This is your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. I'm Andrew Gibson for 1010XL. This update brought to you by Geico. High school football in the Jacksonville area is coming up pretty fast. On Saturday, August 24th is the Publix Bold City Showdown presented by Sonic. 3 marquee high school football matchups back-to-back on 1010XL live from Skinner Barco Stadium at the Bowl School. It'll be Lee against Bartram Trail at 1, Atlantic Coast against defending state champion Mandarin at 4, and the University Christians taking on the Bowl School at 7. A Fan Fest opens at 11:30. Just go to jackshighschool912.com for information and tickets. A live report from Jaguars Ravens joint practice coming up with Frank Frangie. Right now, 87 degrees at 3:02. Your time and temperature brought to you by Bueller Air Conditioning. Stay cooler with Bueller.
The Frangie Show on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Yeah, I had a hard day and it's a long way back to my home. Turn the radio on, I'm hearing my friend Lizzie pretend that their voice counts for nothing amounts to anything until I hear it from you.
Frank, Hayes, Lauren, and Gibby. The Frangie Show starts now on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Welcome into the Frangie Show on a Nibnick Tuesday. Hayes Carline, Andrew Gibson, and Lauren Brooks with you at 1010XL headquarters. And Frank Frangie is live from up in Baltimore again today as the Jaguars have their second practice against the Ravens right now. Frank, this one sounds way more exciting than yesterday's.
Yeah, it really is, Lauren. I get that feel. The most exciting part, though, is the fact that the music guy who's right next to us made a point to turn the music up as loud as he could right when I came on. So that's the most exciting part. It's been a good practice today. It's a lot like yesterday. It's been a lot of offense. The number one offense beats the number 2 defense, no matter which team has the ball. But there have been some highlights. A moment ago, Nick Foles threw that long bomb along the left sideline to Chris Conley that I'm guessing by now has been all over Twitter. It was a thing of beauty, I can tell you that. And then just 20 seconds ago, I don't think it could have made it to Twitter yet, Gardner Minshew threw one to Keelan Cole along the left sideline. So the highlights of this scrimmage, if you will, have been those 2 plays, and Lamar Jackson got loose on a run, his own read play. Boy, is he fast. But it's been a day for the offense. Some injuries, obviously some jockeying around the offensive line. I'll get to that in a second. But, yeah, good day today and another fun day of practice between the Ravens and the Jaguars.
Frank, are you encouraged by the offensive line if all these explosive plays are able to happen for Foles and the receivers?
You know, I don't know that I'm encouraged by the line. Honestly, I think people are pulling their punches, Hayes, on both sides. I said it before. I've said it all the call-ins I did today, and I told you guys yesterday. When everybody knows you can't hit the quarterback, the defensive line can't get off as fast on either team. The quarterback hangs in a little longer because no matter what happens, no matter what you do, nobody's hitting the quarterback. And so I don't know that you can tell a lot about the line plays, Hayes. So I'd be disingenuous if I told you based on that I'm encouraged. What I will tell you is I'm encouraged by some of the skill play. Gardner Minshew looks better every day I watch him. Every day I watch him. Nick Foles looks like he's legit. It's clear who their top receivers are. Write this down and tell Friesen old takes exposed, whatever. I'll tweet it in a minute. Barring injury, Dede Westbrook will be a star this year. I'll say it again. I know that's a no-doc comment. Everyone's saying it. But Hayes, he's going to be a star this year. There's a first-step quickness. There's a change gears about him. He's not Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown might be the best receiver in the league. But he plays with a very similar style than that, and I love what I've seen from him. Interesting. Probably the most interesting thing to me is I told you guys yesterday I was pretty convinced with Cam Robinson out that the plan would be Ogbuehi at left tackle, Juwan Taylor at right tackle. Baselli even said on the drill today that he thought they may start the season that way. Well, then Doug told us at his presser that no, he's moving it around. He's alternating the tackles every day. I remember thinking, well, I don't think that's really true. Well, sure enough, when we came out here today, Josh Wells was the starting left tackle, ran with the ones the entire time until the end. I'll get to that in a minute. And Ogbuehi moved back to right tackle, and Juwan Taylor moved to the second team. Then at the end of the workout, Ogbuehi was still the right tackle. Wells was not in there, but Leonard Wester was playing left tackle. So at the end of the day, and they're still finishing up now, both teams are on the field, but it's back up. They're working on field goals now. But when they just did goal line a minute ago and full field a minute ago, your offensive line, with the ones in there now, with Foles and the top receivers and Fournette in there and Swaim in there, was Wester, Norwell, Linder, Can, and Ogbuehi. So it's there's certainly a little bit of a revolving door at offensive tackle until they wait for Cam Robinson to get back.
How has Jeff Swaim looked against the Ravens?
Good, Lauren. He's made 2 or 3 catches in the middle of the field. They need another tight end, though. I will say that. He's looked good. O'Shaughnessy's been in there on the 2 tight end sets. Koyak's played with the 2s and the 3s. He's just slower than the other guys, and he hasn't moved. Charles Jones, the undrafted guy to Tulane, they like him. I think he's incomplete. I don't think he's much of a blocker yet. He is doing the things Josh Oliver will do when Josh returns. So for now, I think he's okay. Swaim's good. I'm telling you. Jeff Swaim has been underappreciated. Maybe it's because he's been hurt and hasn't played very much. He got like 26 career catches. We've had that talk. But Swaim's fine. I'm telling you, the starters on offense are pretty good. On the touchdown pass to Conley, Lauren, he blew by. Remember now, the Ravens had the number 1 defense in the league last year. They were ranked number 1 in the league when the season ended, and he blew by them. So the offensive skill guys, the starting guys, I feel pretty good about. I really do.
Frank, are we still seeing Yannick and Josh Allen on the field at the same time?
You know, it's funny. Even when they went nickel today, it was more of the baseline. Yesterday it was Yannick and Josh on the field together a lot with Darius and Calais inside. Today they did that some, but it was more, even when in nickel, Calais stayed outside, Yannick stayed outside, and they left Abry in the game inside along with Darius. So it was interesting how they changed that up a little, which I hadn't seen before. So I think they're just rotating. I asked Doug about that. I said, is it exciting to see Josh and Yannick out there together? And his answer to me, and he said it during his presser, was, look, Josh has all this ability. But college guys, if they're stronger and faster than everybody they play against, can get by. Not at this level. You've got to develop moves. You've got to develop something different, something unique. And you're going to get blocked until you do. And Josh is working through that process, which is interesting. First time I'd heard someone say that. But Doug was very clear. He thinks he's going to be a very good player. But like Dante Fowler never really truly developed, you got to develop some stuff. He said Yannick has developed that. It's time for Josh Josh will continue to work on developing that.
Frank, Marrone also said this morning that James Onwualu has a significant injury and he is expected to miss this season. How concerned are you at linebacker depth?
Yeah, a couple things. Well, number one, I was sitting right in front of Doug when he said that. He was bummed out. I mean, he said, I'm not going to get into what the injury is. I think it's a knee, by the way, but he said, I'm not going to get into it. But he said, we're not going to have him. We said, James has really worked really hard to be on the team, like really hard, and was probably going to make the team. It was pretty clear he was going to make the team, worked really hard, and now he won't be on the team. Yeah, linebacker depth is a major concern. Clearly, Leon Jacobs is now – I think Onwualu might have beat him out. They had them bracketed together. Leon's bigger and faster, but he's a little stiff. He's not that loose quickness that you have to play with football, those hips you have to have in football today. And clearly the guy that does have that, it was Onwualu, so that's going to hurt him a little bit. He's not a great player. That position doesn't play that much anyway. But yeah, it's a real concern. It's a very real concern. It'd be disingenuous to say it's not. Today, by the way, I told you Najee Good has run at that inside linebacker spot next to Miles Jack almost the entire time. Today, Ramik Wilson got some reps. They started out with Najee Good, but they used Ramik Wilson in that spot again. That's the spot vacated by the injury to Quincy Williams. So Interesting stuff today. Yes, linebacker depth is a major concern.
Fournette had a huge day yesterday. How did he follow it up today?
They didn't throw it to him as much. It was clearly the plan yesterday. I think what had everybody buzzing Hayes was all those catches. They didn't throw it very much to him. They used him in the goal line. He scored a touchdown in goal line, and that's when it got a little chippy at the end of the touchdown. It's been chippy today. And, it's been as chippy, way chippier than yesterday. No fight, but there was – and Hayes, you asked yesterday if they've had individual drills. Well, they did have them today, and the defense dominated both. I could not see where the Jaguars' defense went against the Ravens' offensive line. It was at the other end of the field, but I was right next to it when the offensive line for the Jags went against the defensive line for the Ravens, and the Ravens clearly got the best of that. Now, look, you've seen that. That drill is designed for the defense to win. There's no tight ends chipping. There's no fake of a running game. But the defense worked. It was not a good, in my opinion, was not a good day for the Jags offensive line today.
Well, that is not good news, but we will chat with Jaguars right guard A.J. Cann coming up in just a little bit. And we will also check back with you in just a few minutes. But we're going to take our first break. So as soon as we return, we will continue talking to Frank from up in Baltimore and talk to A.J. Cann. That is next on The Frangie Show on an Nimnick Tuesday on 1010XL.
The Frangie Show, live from the law offices of Brett Hastings Studio on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Gators, Hurricanes, the rivalry renewed. Florida and Miami open the college football season, and you'll hear the game on 1010XL.
Jags fans, this one's for you. Enter the TIAA Bank Take the Field sweepstakes for your chance to win 2 club tickets and get pregame sideline access to be on the field when the Jags come out of the tunnel. A new winner will be chosen for each home game. To enter and for official rules, visit TIAABank.com/takethefield. No purchase necessary. Open to legal residents of 50 United States and D.C. 18 and older. Void where prohibited. Entry period from 8/5/2019 to 12/18/2019. For official rules and complete details, visit TIAABank.com/takethefield. Sponsor TIAA FSB.
Come see the new showroom and new displays at the Kitchen and Flooring Design Center, located on Southside Boulevard across from Tinseltown. The friendly, experienced group of interior designers will help you transform your home. They specialize in kitchen design, bath design, and closet design. The Kitchen and Flooring Design Center is used by many builders, home remodelers, and assisted living communities in Jacksonville. Plus, you'll find brands like Timberlake, Dolltile, Mohawk, Craftmade, Cambria, Legacy, and tons more. Head to floorsandkitchen.com or stop by the Kitchen and Flooring Design Center today.
Gentlemen, discover the new medical treatment that Viagra doesn't want you to know about. I'm Bradley I with Synergenics Elite Health, and we offer GainsWave. It's a simple 20-minute in-office procedure. GainsWave is non-invasive, and it restores the poor blood flow that causes ED. Stop popping pills and scheduling intimacy. Call 904-500-5500. Consultations are free. Mention this radio station for $150 off your first treatment. Call Synergenics Elite Health at 904-500-5500 to learn about the GainsWave ED treatment today.
Baloo here for the Blue Crab Crab House, once again voted the #1 crab shack in Northeast Florida. What about Sundays over there? You kidding me? $1.95 Bloody Marys, mimosas as well, up until 5 o'clock. Alex always playing live music right there on the deck. The best seafood in Jacksonville, the Blue Crab Crab House. They've been in Jacksonville for 23 years, right there on Jillington Creek Road in San Jose. I'll see you at the Blue Crab Crab House.
Metro Router, you've probably heard of us. It's no accident that by providing same-day service, professional technicians, and the right equipment, hundreds of businesses count on us every week to keep their drains draining, their plumbing functioning, and their pumps pumping. I'm Tom McLaughlin, CEO of Metro Router, and if you are a current customer of ours, I want to thank you for your continued confidence in Metro Router. If you'd like to contact Metro Router, the plumbing service you can trust, we're on the web at metrorouter.com or just call 695-1911. Thank you.
We are the champions. 1010XL.
Jimerson Burr is a full-service, Florida-based commercial law firm that has experience and capabilities to handle any legal issue a business is confronted with. Learn more about what they can do for you at jimersonfirm.com.
How much do you pay for your homeowner's insurance? Get an instant quote with Southern Oak Insurance. Find out how much you'll save at southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours, Southern Oak Insurance.
Hacker here for Blue Chew and BlueChew.com. What is Blue Chew? Well, Blue Chew is the first chewable performance enhancement for the bedroom. And the great thing about chewables, they can work up to twice as fast than regular pills. Guys, when you go to BlueChew.com, your physician consult is absolutely free. It only takes a few minutes to connect with a BlueChew.com affiliated physician. And if you qualify, guys, you get prescribed online quickly. One of the best things about Blue Chew, no awkward doctor visits, no trips to the pharmacy. That's because BlueChew.com will send you Blue Chew directly to your front door in discreet packaging. Guys, trust me. Go to BlueChew.com and our promo code JAX. That's JAX. When you do that, your first order of Blue Chew is free with only $5 shipping. Get your confidence back, gentlemen, and get Blue Chew at BlueChew.com. Remember to enter promo code JAX.
Get inside the Gators with the Florida Gator Report with Lauren Brooks.
Go, Gators!
Brought to you by Darley's Plumbing, where quality counts.
A big win for the Florida Gators.
Get your Gators on 1010XL. This training camp update on 1010XL is brought to you by Tools for a Time Jacksonville, your Gravely zero-turn mower dealer.
Welcome back to the Frangie Show on a Nimnik Tuesday. Hayes Carlin, Andrew Gibson, Lauren Brooks with you from 1010XL headquarters. Frank Frangie up in Baltimore, jamming to the second practice between the Jaguars and the Ravens. Frank, we'll only be able to have you for just a little bit before we get AJ Can on. So real fast, I have to know, how was dinner last night?
Dinner was fantastic. By the way, it may be a little longer than you think for AJ because they're still on the field now, and I will give you an update. You want some play-by-play, Lauren? Some play-by-play?
Always. You need some practice, right?
Tanner Lee is in. It's 4s on 4s. He's under center now. He faces a 4-3 play fake. Tanner rolls right, looking downfield, and they blow it dead even though Tanner still has the ball. There's a little play-by-play. You don't get that on every radio show around here.
Not even
Lauren.
close.
So
that was very well done.
4s on 4s. So that you can play that tape anytime you want, Gibby, because you'll have that the rest of the day, all right? Tanner Lee on a naked boot held the ball. Now on the other field, the ones look like they're done. They're on the knee, about to wrap up practice. But 4s on 4s are still going at it. Dinner was fantastic. I've never seen so much food in all my life. The best sign of the night was when Tony Baselli told Lagerman, quit ordering food. We're not eating anything else because we had oysters and clams and shrimp and all of it. And then at the end of the night, Lagerman ordered 2 fried seafood platters because he thought we hadn't eaten enough, 1 for each table. We had 10 of us, 5 at each table. And Baselli said, don't give that to our table. We're not eating it. It came out there. Baselli dove into it like he was going to the chair. You've never seen anything quite like it. One of the greatest eating expeditions of all time.
Well, I did see that he said that he wouldn't eat blue crabs again because it's so much work. And I tried to prepare you for that. Did you feel the same way?
Yeah, I did. I was no good at it. The only guy I was better at it was Baselli. He was clueless. But we had a wonderful time, and it was with all 10 of us. By the way, bad snap to Tanner Lee. He falls on it. Not a good day for the Jags' number 4 offense, just so you know.
Is the light coming on for Tanner Lee?
I did not see a light go on. I did hear a horn, though, which means they're about to wrap up here. So I know AJ will be right around the corner for you guys, probably about 5 or 10 minutes out. But it's been another good day, guys, and a fun day of practice here as they now start to kind of wrap up day number 2.
And good news is I did see that linebacker Miles Jack intercepted Lamar Jackson earlier. So I like to see that. I like that 2017 defense and takeaways coming back into action.
I'll tell you this, Lauren. The linebacking thing, they're going to have to make some plays. It's going to be, in my mind, that is a concern. You asked about it earlier. I was thinking about this today. Their linebacking core is Miles Jack, who's now the veteran. He's like the veteran guy. He's playing next to, at least for now, either Ramik Wilson or Najee Good, who are journeyman guys. The strong side is Leon Jacobs, who's good, not great, a little stiff. And Onwualu, who was competing with him, just got hurt. It is a thin linebacking core. Now, we're in an age where pass rushers and cover guys are way more important, but it's still a thin core. There's no denying that.
Frank, is there any talk with any of the Ravens reporters that anything they're surprised at with the Jaguars, or do you guys sort of stay on your different sides of the field?
You know, I haven't talked to a lot of those guys today. I mean, we said hello here and there, but I haven't really had those conversations. The questions we got most about the Jags is about Foles. An awful lot of Philadelphia media here. It's only an hour away. He is to have not been there any longer than he was, he's like a rock star, not only in Philadelphia but in this kind of mid-Atlantic region, and everybody wants to talk about him. But I think it's been too early for anybody to have a real hardly formed ideas about either team. I haven't sensed any of that, at least at this point.
Well, when it comes to Foles, you said he looked really good yesterday. We've seen that he's thrown some deep balls today. Overall, how did he do?
Good. I thought he looked great. Again, I'll say it again. I think these practices are designed for the offense. Everybody knows no one's going to hit the quarterback, and for that reason, quarterbacks can hang. No matter how much you try and replicate or simulate a real game, the quarterbacks know no one's hitting them. And as long as you know no one's going to hit you, you can fire away. And so both quarterbacks have looked good. Lamar Jackson's better than I remember him being. He's got a live arm. I didn't remember his arm being that good. He's got a big arm. Now, he missed some guys. And, again, I said this yesterday, his checkdowns he's still throwing Nolan Ryan fastballs. He's got to figure that part out. He's better than I thought. But I thought Foles has had 2 good days. I think the receivers have had good days. I think Jeff Swaim's fine at tight end. We've said it all along. There's some depth issues, and we learned a little bit more about that these last 2 days.
Was this a setback this couple of days for Jared Wilson and Ronnie Harrison?
I don't think so. I'd feel that way more if both teams weren't hitting balls down the field left and right. You know what I mean, Hayes? I think if the Jags weren't hitting balls down the field against the number 1 defense in the league last year and the Ravens were lighting up the Jaguars, I might feel a little differently. It's too early to tell that. I'll say this. You'll get an idea on Thursday night. I think Thursday night will tell us a lot more because I think those starting safeties will play for a while. I don't think starters are going to play a lot. I'm not even sure Foles will play. I can't get a read on. We'll know that tomorrow. Doug said he doesn't even know yet. But if Foles plays, he ain't going to play very much. I'm thinking Lamar Jackson will play some. So you'll get an idea of how the Jags defense holds up, I think, or a better idea on Thursday night.
And what does tomorrow look like for this team? What kind, as far as the walkthrough goes?
Yeah, it's a rehearsal. It's do you know what teams to put on the field, special teams, how to dress out, how to get there, to go through warm-ups, make sure the headsets are working as they communicate with each other. That's really what tomorrow is. It's a dress rehearsal. It's 10:30 at Johns Hopkins. It's probably not even an hour. It's really a walkthrough. It's do you know where to be when the game starts, where we're dressing, the whole bit. So, and Doug said something interesting today. He said the first time you do that is always the clunky one because you got a bunch of new guys. And he said so that'll be the most awkward walkthrough they have all year long. But it's not football. The teams aren't together. The Ravens will be out here. The Jags will be at Johns Hopkins. They'll kind of walk through it, go through the motions at 10:30. I can tell you there's a television production meeting scheduled for like noon, and that Doug's got to be in. So it tells you they're not going to be there very long. So just kind of a walkthrough. The work is done now. They just broke, and the work was yesterday and today, and a lot of meetings, but no more real practicing for this football team until they get back to Jacksonville.
2-0 for the good guys, right, Frank?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think it's a skunk. I really do. They might have stopped it. I think they turned a running clock. Don't they do that in high school? I think it was a running clock on the Ravens is what happened here. And I'm staying with that story, Hayes. I'm not backing off.
All right, Frank. AJ Can is trying to call us now, so we're going to say goodbye to you. We're going to can you for AJ Can right about now, but thank you.
Man, I'll catch with you guys about 5 o'clock.
Sounds good. Thanks so much. All right, we are freeing up the phone line so that hopefully now Jaguars right guard AJ can give us a call on the hotline and spend just a few minutes with us right after practice. So that is basically the best Jaguars report you're going to get is directly from the field. So we certainly appreciate Frank Frangie being on the scene and catching us up with all of that work that's going on out there today. And then, as he mentioned, there's going to be a walkthrough tomorrow. I asked that question because I saw Philip Hellman of The Athletic tweeted there's going to be an extensive game day walkthrough going on. I don't really know how walkthrough becomes very extensive, but that's what I was curious about.
It was listening to Doug earlier today, just through the Jaguars video stream. You don't think about it, but all the stuff they do pregame, they do have to sort of rep. And to Doug's point, we've done every part of it at some point, but we've never really gone start to finish through how we're going to operate before the game in terms of all the things they do to warm up. You do some team stuff. You do some things where you're in your own position groups. And if you've ever gotten to a game an hour before kickoff, you've seen all this. But it is something that, they've got a lot of new guys. Some guys, it'll be the first time they've gone through it in the NFL. So, yeah, tomorrow's an opportunity to sort of say, okay, this is what we do. before a game because you want confidence to be as high as it can be. So you want to practice everything. I will say I'm surprised. In every training camp I've ever been in, I've seen the team practice the taking a deliberate safety where they're lined up inside the 3 and they snap it to the punter and he runs out of the end zone. The Jaguars never did that this year that I saw. Now, maybe they did it and I missed it, but I like that. But coaches always are like, we have to practice everything before we, so that if we ever get into that situation in a game, we can tell our guys, look, we've practiced this. So anyway.
And the Jaguars were certainly, the event staff was going through that when we were there on Friday morning at the stadium. As we were exiting the stadium, we could hear the message that will be played to fans as if fans had attended the practice, even though it was closed, or the scrimmage. So everybody needs that kind of run through. It's certainly not just the team, as I believe we are about to chat with Jaguars right guard AJ Cann here momentarily. It looks like, by the way, this Leonard Western kid has been getting some more reps than I would have expected with the first team.
Yeah, Warhop coached him last year in Tampa Bay, and that's always an interesting dynamic when a new position coach has a relationship with a new player.
Yeah, and that's the fun part about these joint practices is you get to kind of mix it up. All right, Jaguars right guard AJ Cann joins us now. AJ, thanks so much for taking time to talk to us right after practice.
Oh, yeah, no problem. How you doing?
We are fantastic, thanks. So this past offseason looked a little different for you than past off seasons, right?
Oh yeah, I had a lot of good stuff going on. Signed back with the team during free agency. Had a daughter, and got a new haircut. So everything is for the best.
Congratulations!
Thank you so much.
Sure thing. How did you feel like it went for you guys these last 2 days? What kind of strides do you think you made in Baltimore so far?
I feel like it's been good. Going against another team, practice against another team, you see different stuff, different defensive fronts, different players, and it's always good to go against different people to work your technique and things of that sort.
AJ, how is this year's training camp different than last year's, and not just kind of the heat that you've been able to avoid a little bit?
I feel like this year's kind of like leaning towards like trying to make sure players are healthy and trying to take care of the players. There's a lot more downtime and time to take care of your body. So I think that's a good thing for the players.
You're obviously entrenched at right guard, but they've given you a lot of reps at center. What's that been like for you, getting some familiarity with playing that spot behind Brandon?
It's interesting. It's something new. Because last year, we had a lot of injury. I came close to almost playing it last year. So I guess this year, getting those reps there and trying to learn that position just in case something happens. I can be able to step in and fill in. So that's more of the main thing.
You have new offensive line coach this year with George Warhop. What is his approach like?
He's on you. It's a good thing. It's a good way that he's on you. He's very, very detailed how he wants you to do things. And I think that's what a lot of players miss out on, those small details that you don't pay attention to. That obviously, once you hone in on them, they start to help you improve your game. So I think he does a good job with those details and trying to point out those small things that players need help with.
AJ, how much of a confidence boost was it for you that the Jaguars brought you back on a second contract and are excited to see where the prime of your career now goes?
It feels good. Obviously, with years in the league comes confidence. And with them being able to bring me back, it does feel great. That they believe in me and trust me the way that they do. That's exciting. I'm just happy to continue to get back to work with this franchise and this organization.
Speaking of signings, what did you think when the Jaguars signed Nick Foles, and how has he done throughout training camp?
Nick is tremendous. He's a heck of a leader. He's very confident in what he says. He's a great communicator. And, with a guy like him who's been, through the ups and downs and also had, a lot of success in his career, I think he's one of the leaders that a lot of teams in the league need. And, I'm happy we got him on our team now.
What kind of growth have you seen out of Leonard Fournette?
I guess the way he's matured, and, for him being a younger guy, the way he, communicates with the team, steps up and talks a lot. If he got something on his chest, he's not afraid to stand up and say it. It takes a lot of a lot of courage for guys to do that, and he's one of those guys that does that. And I think that's a great thing coming from him, who's a running back and people look at as a leader. So that's a great thing coming from there.
Jaguars right guard A.J. Cann joining us live from up in Baltimore right after the Jaguars' second practice against the Ravens. How is rookie right tackle Juwan Taylor adjusting?
Great. I think what he does a good job of is listening. I think I mentioned to somebody before, young guys come in and they don't know what to expect, and the best thing you can do is just, do your job, work as hard as you can, and listen to other people around you, other players around you, be coachable as you can. I think he's doing a great job of that.
Well, we will get to watch you guys in live action finally on Thursday night, and I'm guessing you have not been told yet how many reps you're going to take Thursday night.
No, I think nobody has any idea. Just however many reps it takes, take advantage of them.
All right. Well, again, AJ, congratulations on your daughter, and thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you so much. See you guys.
That is Jaguars right guard AJ Cann joining us from the practice fields right after the second practice against the Ravens. All right, we will check back in with Frank Frangie around 5 o'clock, and a little bit before that, we will talk to Ryan O'Halloran of the Denver Post. But coming up next, Bill Barnwell has 5 teams that can surprise and 5 teams that will decline in the NFL. We will discuss. You're listening to The Frangie Show on an Nimnik Tuesday on 1010XL.
The Frangie Show, live from the law offices of Brett Hastings Studio on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Built for Jacksonville, by Jacksonville. 1010XL.
New ball till we die.
Jacksonville Sports Radio.
Warning. This product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. The world is changing. Isn't it time smoking changed too? Meet Vuse Alto, a vapor product offering you a satisfying alternative to cigarettes. With long-lasting pods filled with liquid blended in the US, Vuse Alto delivers our highest performing vapor yet. Simple to use, surprisingly quiet, and impressively powerful. Vuse, leading the way today, tomorrow, and the future. Underage sale prohibited.
Oldcastle APG, a leading manufacturer and supplier of concrete masonry, has an immediate opening for a night shift maintenance technician. Position offers great pay, medical, dental, and profit sharing. Apply at oldcastleapg.com, oldcastleapg.com.
Gentlemen, discover the new medical treatment that Viagra doesn't want you to know about. I'm Bradley I with Synergenics Elite Health, and we offer GainsWave. It's a simple 20-minute in-office procedure. GainsWave is non-invasive, and it restores the poor blood flow that causes ED. Stop popping pills and scheduling intimacy. Call 904-500-5500. Consultations are free. Mention this radio station for $150 off your first treatment. Call Synergenics Elite Health at 904-500-5500 to learn about the GainsWave ED treatment today.
Undefeated, undisputed. 1010XL.
For the best price and service when it comes to your waste hauling and collecting, look no further than the A-Team at All-American Roll-Off and Recycling. Jet Prosser here, and let me tell you, you're not going to find an easier way to handle your project cleanups than calling in the A-Team at All-American. A J.B. Coxwell company, All-American Roll-Off and Recycling has brand new trucks and cans in all sizes to fit your project needs. No hidden fees. Count on the best price in town. When it comes to cleaning up when the job is done, go with the A-Team at All-American Roll-Off and Recycling. Visit us at all-americanrolloff.com.
Daly's convenience stores are all over the First Coast, and one thing you'll always see once inside Daly's is a cooler full of Bud Light, the official beer of the NFL. And every game goes great with a cold Bud Light. So head to your local Daly's the next time you stock up for the big game. You'll be famous among friends.
You're shrimp in a bag.
Jumbo Shrimp Baseball presented by Community First with tickets starting at just $5 is home all weekend. Tomorrow is Publix Corks and Forks and our final Standard Feed and Seed Dog Day, followed by Budweiser Thirsty Thursday. And Napa Auto Care Family Fireworks on Red Shirt Friday. The first 2,000 fans on Saturday get a free lunch bag courtesy of Baptist Health, and we have a post-game Christian concert. Call 358-2846 or jackshrimp.com.
I'm Chuck Farrer, reminding you to always exercise caution at the intersection of Beach Boulevard and University. It is one of the most dangerous crossroads in the city. When you or someone you love has been the victim of an auto accident, you're at another crossroad. You need a lawyer who knows how to handle the insurance companies. Call us at 396-5555. We'll fight to get you the compensation you deserve. Farrer & Farrer, protecting you and your family for over 30 years. Offices, Jacksonville.
Kuhn Flowers is at it again, now offering a BOGO special. Buy 1 dozen roses in assorted colors for $69.95 and get another dozen absolutely free. Now through August 15th, buy a dozen roses, get a dozen free. Only at Kuhn Flowers. Offer expires August 15th.
Right now, they're on their way to disrupt your life, make you uncomfortable, and rob you. Don't bother calling the police. They can't help. That's right. Summer heat and humidity are about to attack North Florida again. You know what to do. Call Mike Merritt. Mike Merritt's Heating and Air has a license to chill. When heat and humidity are attacking you, Mike Merritt provides a comfortable chill at a bargain price. Mike has been keeping North Florida comfortable for 30 years. Mike Merritt technicians are never paid commissions, meaning you'll never be pressured to buy something you don't need. And Mike Merritt knows cooling issues can arise anytime. They don't just happen during business hours. So Mike Merritt never charges overtime fees. When you need us, we're here for you. Remember, in the fight against heat and humidity, Mike Merritt has a license to chill. Visit merrittair.com. Florida license number CACO 50384.
Former Jacksonville Pro Bowler Leon Searcy is serving up lunch on XL Primetime.
Bring me 4 fried chickens and a Coke.
Weekdays at noon on 1010XL.
4 fried chickens and a Coke.
Brought to you by Wingstop.
I like my dessert first.
More of The Frangie Show now on a Nimnick Tuesday. Nimnick, your friends in the car business since 1941.
Nimnick Chevrolet won 2018 Chevrolet Dealer of the Year. They've been serving and donating to our community for 78 years, and they have a ton of inventory. That's why they can have a best price guarantee. That is Nimnick Chevrolet. Welcome back to The Frangie Show. Hayes, Gibby, and Lauren with you until 6 p.m. this evening. Frank Frangie set to rejoin us around 5 p.m. He should be shortly getting on the bus, if not already on the bus, back to the hotel. I did see on Instagram today, Dede Westbrook had some funny videos of both Marquise Lee asleep in the bus. This must have been on the way to practice. And also Jalen Ramsey doing the head nod. And I had to laugh just because that's not something I would expect Jalen to necessarily want on social media. You know, he kind of has that image to live up to. So I had to get a laugh out of it. But certainly more Jaguars talk coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. Now we're going to get it to a little bit more around the NFL as Bill Barnwell has 5 teams that will surprise and 5 that will decline. We will start with the surprise teams. The San Francisco 49ers went 4-12 last year. Granted, Jimmy Garoppolo tore his ACL in week 3, I believe it was. But why should the 49ers be on the up and up?
Yeah, I think that's the biggest reason, and I agree with Barnwell on this. I think that Seattle stayed there last year, and I give them credit for it. But I feel like Seattle is getting ready to take a little bit of a step back, and I think part of the reason why they didn't is because Garoppolo got hurt, and the 49ers, who I think were poised to do this last year, were certainly derailed. But I think when you look at it, I like Shanahan. I like what he does with the offense, and I don't get a sense that it's a terribly difficult division. So I don't know that I can sit here and say San Francisco is an 11-5 team, but I can see them jump into that 9-7 range and flirting with a wild card. I think they're going to finish ahead of Seattle in the West.
I found it fascinating in general with Barnwell's article on ESPN. His statistics are staggering as far as the depth to which he goes. I mean, at one point he was referring to something I've literally never heard of, binomial something. And I was like, I don't even know what this is, but binomial distribution.
No one does.
Yeah, and it suggests a coach who won 28 of 40 coin flips, blah, blah, blah. And it just goes on. And I was like, what is this? But
it's
in
the
end,
football version of charcuterie.
Charcuterie is far easier to explain. It's cheese and meat, and it comes on a platter, and it's delicious. But yeah, I mean, I think because also of their defensive line, the 49ers defensive line, you would expect them to be able to get to the quarterback. And I loved the stat. They only had 2 interceptions all season, the 49ers defense. 2.
That's crazy.
That is the least of any NFL team ever in the history of the game. 2 interceptions. So you just assume that there's no way they can repeat that feat again this year. The next team that he has improving, the Carolina Panthers at 7-9. And again, it's because he expects Cam Newton to have a better season. Certainly coming off of that shoulder surgery that he went through. But why else do you think the Panthers should be a team that's going to improve?
Yeah, I don't see this one as much. I think
Okay.
Carolina sort of stays in that 7-9 range, and possibly even drops back. I just think part of it is the division. I like the Falcons more. I like the Saints more, and I wouldn't be surprised if Tampa at least got one from the Panthers. So you're talking about a team that I could see struggling to win more than maybe 2 games in their division. And if that's going to be the case, it's really difficult to have a winning year. You pretty much have to be flawless everywhere else. I like Cam Newton. I think he'll be fine. I just think this is one of those cases where McCaffrey's great, but I still wonder about the explosiveness that they have as an offense, particularly on the perimeter with their receivers. Defensively, I think that they'll be good as they usually are, but to me, I think it's one of those, if everything goes right, they can win 12 games because every game no one's blowing Carolina out. I mean, they play too good on defense. They've got enough on offense. They're going to be in a ton of close games. It just feels like there's way more teams they go up against that are just quicker, more explosive on the perimeter in the passing game. And I think that makes it difficult to see Carolina doing anything more than probably what they did last year. So I'll say that they either stay at 7-9 or maybe take a really small step back.
And it will be fun to watch. The Panthers drafted Brian Burns, so it'll be fun to watch him in addition to Julius Peppers retired, but it'll be fun to watch him in addition to Bruce Irvin. And then also they got Dontari Poe and Gerald McCoy as well. So
I'll tell you somebody real quick,
Yeah.
actually 2 people to watch on Carolina this year. DJ Moore, the wide receiver, is going to have a huge year, and then they're really talking up Curtis Samuel, the wide receiver. So those are 2 guys that I think will really help Carolina out this year. A lot of talk up there in Charlotte.
Do you worry about them, though, as a Falcons fan?
A little bit, but, I think from the offensive side, Atlanta can score with anybody. Calvin Ridley is going to be a huge compliment this year to Julio Jones. And, I think a little bit you have to be concerned. It's going to be a ridiculous division with the Saints you mentioned. I think the Bucs are going to be better this year to see what Bruce Arians can do with Jameis. I mean, if those 4 quarterbacks get rolling, it's one of the toughest divisions in football.
And a reason to watch the Panthers preseason games if you have any interest in the quarterbacks behind Cam Newton. Will Grier is the rookie that they drafted. So I always enjoy just seeing the guys that we, of course, talked about at length in the offseason before we knew the Jaguars were going to sign Nick Foles and see how they perform. We talked a lot about Drew Lock, and we're going to talk to Ryan O'Halloran in Denver coming up next in the next segment. But Drew Lock not doing so hot. And so it makes you feel so much better that you do have Nick Foles and the leadership that he brings. All right, you just touched on the Bucs, Gibby, 5-11 last year. Can Bruce Arians turn that team around? I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't know about flipping it from 5-11 to 11-5, but I do think that he's going to get a lot out of Jameis Winston. And if he's able to do that, then I think they've got a fighting chance to go 8-8. Defensively, I still think they've got a lot of problems, and I don't know that Arians that's not what he's known for. So I think they're going to be a fun team, entertaining, because I think they will score. Mike Evans is going to have an unbelievable year in that scheme, but I just think it's one of those teams that they're going to lose a lot of 34-31 kind of games. So I do think there'll be improvement because I think they'll consistently score. But I think at the end of the day, particularly playing in that division, 2 games against Matt Ryan, 2 games against Drew Brees, 2 games against Cam Newton, I would be surprised if the Bucs weren't 25th or worse in total defense, scoring defense, third down defense, and makes it tough to do a whole lot if that's where you are. But I think 7 wins, 8 wins is probably so I'll agree with a small improvement, not a 5-11 to end the tournament.
Blaine Gabbert, now the backup quarterback in Tampa.
Look out.
Will you be rooting for or against him?
Well, I hear that Jameis Winston's losing sleep, with Blaine Gabbert breathing down his neck.
You guys want to know with the Bucs, one of the most under-the-radar signings I think that's happened this year. Did you realize Ndamukong Suh plays for the Bucs now? I did not.
Yeah, it'll be fun to see what he has left. I mean, they've certainly tried, to do some things this offseason, but it seems like they had a lot of work to do. And it's funny with Gabbert. We talked about Bigby, Blake is a great guy, but
Right.
before we say something nice about Foles, you never really had that with Blaine. We never needed a Gigby.
No.
In Jacksonville, it was all right. Best of luck to you, kid, and thanks for the memories.
Yeah, I think Jaguars fans remember him best as far as like closing his eyes when the pass rush would come at him and curling into the fetal position. And he was also not all that friendly with media. So you're not going to get that. He was a great guy. We really enjoyed covering him aspect of it either. All right, the New York Jets went 4-12 last year. Can Sam Darnold bring this team with now the addition of Le'Veon Bell into a contender?
I agree with this one because I think you look at the division is terrible outside of New England. So you feel like you can, certainly win 2 against the Dolphins and have the chance to win 2 against the Bills. And really you look at the rest of the schedule is for an NFL schedule is pretty manageable. And they have made such an investment in free agency that you would think that it's got to pay off at least a little bit. I mean, when you're coming off a 4-1 season, you've got Darnold who's maturing. He looks like he could be the long-term answer. You do add a Le'Veon Bell, who is, I think, sensational, and I think he's going to have a big year after not playing last year for Pittsburgh. And they made some good additions to the defense. So, again, not a team that I think is going to get in the wild card picture, and they have no chance of threatening New England. But, I do think they have a chance to go from 4-12 to 7-9, 8-8, somewhere in there. So I see improvement, but I don't see, top 5 pick to playoffs kind of rebound.
I agree. I see improvement as well, but I don't think Sam Darnold is going to be their franchise quarterback. So no matter how good the team is around him, I don't foresee this team becoming what they want with him. Gibby, anybody off the Jets that you want to talk about?
Well, you got a couple of former Jags there, I think, with the Jets. Kelvin Beachum still trying to make himself viable at the left tackle position. The Jets are an interesting team because you mentioned Sam Darnold. I mean, I heard that he's looking pretty good. I don't know. Sam Darnold seems like one of those guys that one of those quarterbacks that you kind of maybe didn't talk about enough, but I think he might be pretty good.
And that'll be the fun part. Obviously, year 2, he should show signs. I knew I could not say that phrase. Should show signs of improvement this year. And finally, the Giants went 5-11 last year. Pete Prisco told us he thinks the Giants, and I'm not stealing a word by any means, that they're trash. I'm going to say that they're trash. He doesn't think they're very good. I'm going to agree with him and say that, no, the Giants are not an improved team.
Yeah, I was surprised by this one. I don't like the division, so I could see them faring well against Washington. I think Dallas is going to regress. I think Philadelphia is good, but I do think it's a fairly manageable division for the Giants. It just feels like they're 6 games away from a just complete collapse. I mean, sometimes you just get a vibe of this isn't going to go well. They don't realize it yet, but it's not going to go well. And the Giants sort of fall into that category. They certainly have offensive talent. I like the tight end Ingram.
But no OBJ.
Obviously, Saquon is sensational. But right, you lose a guy like Beckham. I just don't know how you can do that and not miss him. And defensively, I mean, they still have a lot of issues. So it's hard for me to see the Giants winning more than 5. So I would probably actually, I don't know that I'd lean towards the under, but I think they'll be probably right in that 5-11 place again.
Well, in receivers, like I just mentioned, Odell goes to the Browns. Sterling Shepard has a broken thumb. Golden Tate is suspended for 4 games. He is appealing it, but we very rarely see those overturned. And so I just think we're going to see Daniel Jones pretty quickly. Not that he's going to have this great receiving core to throw to, but I don't think he's going to be very good, but I do think we'll get to see him sooner rather than later. And I know you think Eli makes it through, about halfway through the season?
Yeah, I have him going a little further than that. But it feels to me like they could collapse and not go to the rookie. Like that could be part of the collapse. Is that
also possible?
Is that they stay with Eli longer than maybe a lot of people like. So, I think Eli will, if he stays healthy, he's a durable guy. I think he probably gets to the 11th, 12th week. Because I think it's tough in New York, because I think as long as you're mathematically in it, I think it's tough to make the move. But so I think Eli hangs in pretty late, but I still think they strike me as the kind of team that could lose their last 7 games. It could be that kind of a year.
And Barnwell is kind of taking the easy way out by saying he's not saying that any of these teams are going to be good or make the playoffs. He's just saying they're going to be improved from last year. Well, if you look at the list, other than the Panthers that he chose, you've got a team that won 4 games, 5 games, 4 games, and 5 games. Well, of course you're going to assume those teams improve, but the Jaguars could have been in this conversation last year winning only 5 games and this year having a different quarterback and certainly hoping that the defense returns to the 2017 form. So you could have certainly put the Jaguars in this article, and he did not. So I'm not going to say that he just picked the lowest or the teams with the worst record last year, and the Panthers did go 7-9. But still, the Jaguars are not in there. Are you surprised?
I am surprised. Barnwell leans towards kind of a negative view, I would say, of the Jaguars, and I can't say that. I think he's got, I think he's got personal stuff with the Jaguars. But I will say I was surprised. I think when you look at it, of all the teams that he picked, I would say I would have put the Jaguars. I think the Jaguars will win more games than the Panthers, the Bucks, the Jets, and the Giants, and I don't think they win as many as the 49ers. So I think 4 of the 5 he picked will actually finish with a worse record than the Jaguars. And I don't think the Jaguars are doing anything sensational, but I think the Jaguars could go 10-6, which if you were 5-11 would certainly qualify for this list. So it is interesting because what he's telling you is he thinks they're a 5-11, 6-10 team. That would surprise me at this point, assuming injuries don't decimate them again. I would be surprised if, from what we've seen, the consistency Nick Foles has shown, I'd be surprised if this is a 6-10 team.
I would be surprised as well. And so I'm with you. I honestly, maybe the Panthers get to 9-7 and the Jaguars finish 8-8, but I would pick the Jaguars to win more games than the majority of the teams that he has. All right, Ryan O'Halloran, formerly of the Times-Union, now covers the Broncos for the Denver Post, will join us next. So you will get lots of sarcasm coming up in just a few minutes on The Frangie Show on 1010XL.
The Frangie Show, live from the law offices of Brett Hastings Studio on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
1010XL takes you behind the microphone.
Used to pull your punches. It was scene-stealing hack, thank you. Raving egomaniac. I don't know where I got that from.
Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser.
Where's my limo?
Mornings on 1010XL.
Whether you're just starting to think about selling your house or you're serious about selling, well, I've got good news for you, and that's Open Door, the new streamlined way to sell your home. Did you know you can get a competitive offer on your house in just 24 hours? That's right, with Open Door, you can. Lauren Brooks here, and Open Door buys a home every 34 minutes. So why wait to sell your home? Yours can be next when you sell directly to Open Door. When I sold my house, oh my goodness, it was such a pain between the staging and all the showings and people traipsing through my house and constantly having to clean it. Plus, there was the risk of the buyer's financing falling through. Well, you don't have to worry about any of that with Open Door, and you can close in as little as 14 days or as long as 60 days. So again, why wait? You can get a free, no obligation offer on your home at opendoor.com/myoffer. That's opendoor.com/myoffer to get your free no obligation offer today.
They say time is money, and at Claude Nolan Cadillac, we respect your time and strive to make your every visit a pleasure. Serving Jacksonville for over 114 years, Claude Nolan Cadillac owners come back again and again. Why? Because you are more than a customer, you are part of our family, and now get 0% financing for up to 72 months, plus $1,000 on most new 2019 Cadillac models. Visit Claude Nolan on Southside Boulevard or go to ClaudeNolanCadillac.com. Beginning lasting relationship since 1905. See dealer for details.
After a major storm, you can count on JEA to safely restore power as quickly as possible. During Phase 1, we restore power to critical infrastructure, hospitals, shelters, and police and fire stations. In Phase 2, we put all our resources into restoring power to neighborhoods and businesses. And during Phase 3, we won't stop until every outage is resolved. Because when the community you serve is home, there's more than power on the line. To download JEA's Restoration 123 fact sheet, visit JEA.com. JEA, building a more resilient community.
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg of Underwood Jewelers. Clayton, you are a sixth-generation jeweler. What kind of watch do you wear?
Frank, I think I've told this story 1,000 times. The watch I wear is a Rolex, and here's why. When my grandfather gave me a gift for graduating from college, he said, I want you to have something that you'll always remember me for. And he gave me a Rolex watch, and some 35 years later, it still runs and looks as good as it did the day I got it, a day I'll always remember. This might be the right time for you to create the same kind of memory, and nothing does it better than a Rolex from Underwoods. Whether it's a lady or a man's, the Rolex Oyster has the classic good looks and incredible durability and accuracy that make it the watch people want to own. And at Underwoods, all of our Rolexes come with a 5-year guarantee.
Underwood Jewelers in San Marco, in Avondale, and at the shops of Ponte Vedra. Underwood's, serving excellence since 1928. Underwood Jewelers.
Mayor Lenny Curry here, reminding you to always wear your seatbelt. Keep your devices down and your head up. If you're riding a bike or motorcycle, wear a helmet and always cross the street at a corner or crosswalk. Be all in for safety. Be all in, Duval. Go to COJ.net for more safety tips.
If you're a skilled or unskilled worker yearning to make more money, then listen up, because All Purpose Staffing is looking for you. Lauren Brooks here for All Purpose Staffing, where employees always make more than minimum wage. All Purpose Staffing is filling positions right now for general helpers, carpenters, painters, electricians, roofing, landscaping, and more. Full and part-time work available. Call All Purpose Staffing today at 904-219-1515. That's 219-1515 to land that better job today.
Zerorez stands for zero residue. It's all about the science. No soaps, no detergents means cleaner, longer. Call us to get your carpets, tile and grout, area rugs, and furniture cleaned. Zerorez spelled forward or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
Whatever you think about global warming, we're sure about summer warming. Old windows cost a lot of money in higher AC bills. American Window Products will replace your old windows with Eastern Architectural Systems and save you the money that's slipping through the cracks. As a 1010XL listener, you'll get a free Energy Star glass package and the best window installation available at AmericanWindowProducts.com. AmericanWindowProducts.com.
American Window. Dreamfinders Homes has a simple commitment to our home buyers. Deliver unsurpassed quality, uncompromising value, and an extraordinary level of customization you simply will not find with other home builders. Lauren Brooks here. Find a location you love and the home of your dreams. We have townhomes, single-family, and custom estate homes starting from the mid-100s. Dreamfinders Homes, the official home builder of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Prices subject to change without notice. Equal housing opportunity.
Internal Revenue Service. When you owe a personal or business tax debt and can't pay, these 3 words bring feelings of fear and anxiety. Contact J. David Tax Law. Recently voted Best Tax Attorney in Jacksonville by Folio Weekly Readers and selected as a 2019 Ultimate Tax Attorney by the Jacksonville Business Journal. When you owe the IRS or Florida sales tax and can't pay, it's only a matter of time before tax liens, wage garnishments, or bank levies happen to you. Don't wait. Call J. David Tax Law for your no-cost consultation. We take the time to go through your tax problems step by step, explain your options, and how we will resolve your tax issue once and for all. See why J. David Tax Law was voted Best Tax Attorney in Jax. Call now for a no-cost consultation. 904-507-4777. That's 904-507-4777. Or find us on the web at jdavidtaxlaw.com. Peace of mind is only a click or phone call away.
Hey folks, Mike Dempsey here. If you like discounts and special offers, then you need to jump online right now and head to TireOutlet.com/offers. How about $25 off a $75 purchase? I'm no math major, but that sounds pretty much like a 33% discount to me. And you'll find at least 10 enticing offers which you can take advantage of. So log on now at TireOutlet.com/offers. Only through the end of summer. Get your $25 off coupon and much more. That's TireOutlet.com/offers, where you'll find wholesale prices and premium service.
The flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
This is your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. I'm Andrew Gibson for 1010XL. The Gators are getting ready to play Miami on August 24th in Orlando, and the Gators took a hit on their defensive back depth, according to Dan Mullen.
C.J. McWilliams, he's going to be out for the year with a torn Achilles. He ruptured his Achilles. He's going to be out for the year, and that's a tough one. Non-contact injury. Early in practice, just planted and drove and felt the pop.
Dan Mullen today, courtesy of Gators.com. The Jaguars' day 2 of joint practices with the Baltimore Ravens have wrapped up. Frank Frangie will rejoin us in about an hour. But coming up next, Ryan O'Halloran of the Denver Post. He will join Lauren Brooks and Hayes Carline coming up on The Frangie Show. 87 degrees at 4:01. Your time and temperature brought to you by Bueller Air Conditioning. Stay cooler with Bueller.
More of The Frangie Show now on a Nimnick Tuesday. Nimnick, your friends in the car business since 1941.
Hayes Carline and Lauren Brooks with you. Frank Frangie up in Baltimore as we head out west and welcome in Ryan O'Halloran of the Denver Post right now. Ryan, how are you?
Lauren, Hayes, I'm doing well. How are you guys doing?
We are fabulous, thanks. Just enjoying some sunshine/rain like you know it tends to do here in Jacksonville in the summertime. Ryan, though, you got to go to the Hall of Fame game and ceremony. How did that go?
It was good. The ceremony is a complete debacle. Let's just face it. I mean, we live in a short-term concentration society. By all means, let's Ed Reed talk for 35 minutes.
It was a long one.
I mean, for crying out loud, he thanked his barber.
I saw that.
But I will say this. For anybody who likes pro football, it is worth going to the Hall of Fame and saying, hey, take as much time as you need to walk around, look at all the jerseys, look at all those footballs and game book, playbooks and stuff like that. And it is a trip through the league's history that is very well done. So from that aspect, I spent 2 hours in there on Thursday morning. That was the highlight of the trip.
Ryan, how's just the mechanics of opening camp a week early? We're obviously hopeful that Baselli gets in next year. And if that happens, I think there's a good chance that the Jaguars would be selected to play in the game, with Tony being the first Jaguar to go in. What's it like opening camp a week early, having to go cover the game? What was your experience going through this?
It's a nightmare. and I think the players would agree, because let's put it this way. 2 receivers on the Broncos, Emmanuel Sanders and Cortland Sutton, got into a fight at practice yesterday. They play the same position. So the dog days have arrived. Vic Fangio, they took advantage. They opened camp as early as they could, which is 2 weeks before the game. But this is where this would be a key for the team who does it next year. Let's say it is the Jaguars. After the Hall of Fame game, Vic gave them Friday and Saturday off. After this game, Thursday and Saturday, was giving them Friday and Saturday off. So he is spacing out these off days. But he laid down the gauntlet the first 10 days or so. A lot of pads, a lot of hitting. So the mechanics of it is, for the head coach, your challenge is you can't run your guys into the ground. So he was rotating first team, second team, third team, all the way through camp, and then most of the starters didn't play Thursday. But you got to be smart. You can't be, trying to prove a point in late July. It's going to cost you in early September.
Ryan, would you rather have the combination of Joe Flacco, Kevin Hogan, and Drew Lock, or Nick Foles and Gardner Minshew?
Well, I think you go with Flacco and Lock and Hogan. Second-round pick with Drew, although he struggled lately. And then Flacco, I like Foles, a Super Bowl champion. So I would take that group. But if it's Foles versus Flacco, maybe a different call. I may have to go with Nick.
How's Flacco looked?
I've told people this, and it's not a negative. He's going through the motions. He knows what it takes to get ready for a season. Mm-hmm. And everything he does in practice is with Oakland in mind in week 1 on Monday night. And so he's not going to try and be a hero by scrambling out of the pocket and extending a play. He's going to throw it in dirt and go and move on to the next play. So I think he's been pretty smart in that respect. I mean, he has a pretty good connection with Rich Gangarello, the offensive coordinator, who's basically the quarterback coach, to know what to do in practicing. Like today, they wore shells. During 11-on-11, Joe maybe took a handful of snaps and Drew Lock took the rest. That's calculated. It's, okay, Joe, you've gotten your work in the last 2 days. Let's give the wing a little break.
You mentioned Drew Lock did not look so good in the Hall of Fame game. How's he been throughout practice?
Uneven. And, it's you can't, I guess, quantify the transition from a spread, shotgun, no play call, no huddle offense to what he's got to do in the NFL. And I thought Vic Fangio pointed out well today, hey, you got to get that stuff down first before his talent can show. And I thought that was well put because, you're finding out why he wasn't drafted in the first round and expected to start right away. It is a big, big transition.
Ryan, obviously you covered Yannick Ngakoue his first couple of years here. You remain close with Dave Caldwell. Tom Coughlin's running the show. Did Tom Coughlin err in how he's handled Yannick Ngakoue to this point?
He's erred in just about everything he's done in 2 years. Let's start with Ngakoue. Here's the rub with how I think the Jaguars are being run right now. There's no voice. There's nobody telling the fan base, hey, this is what we're thinking. This is why we're doing things. And this is where I got into brawls with the Jaguars my last year there is. They say, we only want time to talk so you can write about it. Yes, but also I think you owe something to your paying public because, Hayes, I'm sure you get it. I got it via email saying, where is he? Why isn't he explaining some of these moves? I think he should have been front and center this week and said, hey, we want Ngakoue to be part of our future. We're glad he came back to camp, not that he had a choice, and we're going to continue talks. There's no urgency on the team's front. He is under contract for this year. And, okay, that would tell the fans, okay, at least we've heard from the guy in charge. And I think that's going to continue to be the disappointing thing. And it just is a bad look for the organization because it looks like we kind of know who's running the ship, but who's speaking for the ship. And, Doug Marrone doesn't want to get within 10 miles of anything regarding a contract, which makes him like every other head coach in the league. But here's the difference. If Vic Fangio says, I'm not getting involved in Chris Harris's contract dispute during the offseason, John Elway talks the first day of camp and says, this is why we did it. This is where we're going. That's a big difference. And that at least tells the fan base, we're not going to tell you our whole plan, but we sure as hell have one.
Yeah, it seems like Elway talks pretty often. In terms of how do you think Ngakoue, how do you think it ends up?
I think they end up getting a deal done because you can never have enough pass rushers. That's what they said when they drafted those guys the past couple of years in Jacksonville. But they have to keep in mind that they have to allocate, I'm going to say $23 million a year for Jalen Ramsey, his next contract, average, because he's going to be the highest paid corner in the league, and that price is only going up. Okay, you have to allocate money for Ngakoue, Calais Campbell. You see in your future that creates some money. But if you have Ngakoue and Josh Allen as your pass rushing duo, you have the start of something. So if I'm in Ngakoue's camp, I am for a long-term deal because if you don't get it, they're just going to tag you. So try and get some of the long-term security you are desiring and move on from this.
Ryan, do you think Nick Foles has enough offensive weapons to be an efficient offense?
No, but that makes him probably like 3/4 of the quarterbacks in the league. I mean, hey, I'm just some local yokel in a dusty old cow town at the foot of the Rocky Mountains. I'm not some national guy who's going to be making picks on every game or whatever, but I know that a lot of teams have troubles at the skill position. The Broncos are one of them. The Jaguars are one of them. Can Chris Conley, can he stay healthy? At tight end, what's going on there? Who's going to block? Who's going to catch for that team in Jacksonville at tight
Jeff
end?
Swaim is the answer, Ryan.
Yeah. So there's a lot of uncertainty, but that goes for a lot of teams in this league. There is how many teams really have a true number one? What you have at this point, and I think Denver and Jackson are in the same boat, is you label a guy a number one receiver and you say, he's not a number one. He's our number one. And you try and get him better.
What's your Super Bowl pick?
Oh, Jaguars, baby. I think it's really wide open in the AFC because at some point the Patriots are going to slow down with all the losses that they have taken. But there's so many bad teams that can go, 8-8, 7-9. If I had to pick, I really like the Chargers because I think they're the best team in the AFC West because I don't think Kansas City's going to be able to stop anybody because their personnel sucked for a 4-3. Now he's switching to a 3-4. That's going to be even worse. So I'll go Chargers in the AFC. And in the NFC, I will go I'll make it an all-LA Super Bowl. I'll go with the Rams.
Wow, how about that?
I would not like that.
Could be the year of LA. Clippers, Lakers, and
right.
Chargers, Rams.
Yeah, I mean, you look at New Orleans something's going to happen to the Saints, and it's not going to be their fault. They like to blame everybody else. That's their motto down there. But anybody in the NFC North area, maybe Chicago, but they lost Vic Fangio, who's probably the best defensive play caller in the league. That's going to make an impact. NFC East, for the resources they put into that division, it's the Eagles and everybody else. So it's going to be, I think it's going to be another interesting year, but there's always one or two teams that come out of nowhere that didn't make the playoffs the year before and then make a run to the Super Bowl.
Ryan, who's your pick for the AFC South?
I'll go with Indianapolis by default, assuming Andrew Luck is healthy. They didn't do a lot in free agency, so they're sort of, I think it just looks like they're resting on their laurels a little bit. I wouldn't trust Tennessee. I don't trust Houston. I mean, they don't even have a dang GM. And they still haven't addressed their offensive line very well. So I'll go the Colts in that division. Maybe the Jaguars finish in second.
Getting back to the Hall of Fame, Ryan, what is it like when you see the parade of legends come in, for the dinner the night before? And also I was curious, looking at next year's class, how do you think it stacks up for Boselli? Obviously, I'm sure you'll track it because he's from the Colorado area. But in terms of looking at the first-year guys, Polamalu, I think is Patrick Willis, Reggie Wayne. How do you think he fits in there? And just, for people that, weren't able to go, what is it like seeing all those guys, all the greats of the game be there?
It was like the highlight on Friday night. I never watched the Gold Jacket because, on TV, and you don't watch it because it's really just a guy getting a sport coat. But they do introduce every Hall of Famer who's in attendance. And I think it was like over 100 guys. And, all the quarterbacks, all the defensive players, legends, Jim Brown, Steel Curtin, Franco Harris, Joe Namath. Myself and our columnist, Mark Kizzle, were standing in the concourse of the arena waiting for it to start. Oh, so here comes Joe Namath walking by, and Kiz was like, "We got to say hello to Broadway Joe." And I said, "Hey, Joe, how's it going?" So he stopped and shook our hands and said, "Hey, how's it going, guys?" And that's pretty cool. I mean, if you're a sports fan, even before my time, that's still Joe Namath. So
that's awesome.
That was one of the highlights, and then you just sort of run into a couple people, and that's pretty cool. I wish they would put more of that part on TV, but they sort of truncate the broadcast into an hour.
Yeah, and then
and I forgot your second question, Hayes, on Boselli.
Yeah, just did you get any sort of vibe about next year's class with it being, I think, Patrick Willis, Polamalu, and Reggie Wayne being the main first year of eligibility candidates? Yeah,
I mean, there's an opening for Tony, and but there's also an opening for other players of his ilk that have made it to the semifinals, which is the final 10, but haven't been able to storm through the door. There's only going to be 5 modern era. I mean, it's a class of 20, but it's half of them are senior candidates. So there's 5 modern era guys. I mean, is Patrick Willis really a first-time Hall of Famer? He retired even though he was healthy. I wouldn't put him in the first time around. Reggie Wayne has the numbers. A lot of receivers with those numbers have not gotten in on the first ballot. Polamalu, I could go either way. But this is a big year for Tony Boselli and those other guys because next year, the 2020 class, 2021 induction. Peyton Manning, Charles Woodson, Calvin Johnson, Jared Allen, just to name 4. Okay, that's 4 of the 5 spots that should be first ballot guys. So I think it's going to be an interesting class when they vote in Miami the night before the Super Bowl, and I'm sure it'll be nerve-wracking for a lot of those players.
Former Jaguars running back Fred Taylor has been very outspoken about his name should be in that conversation about the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Do you agree?
I mean, not really. I mean, he's not even number 1 in Jaguars history, which he continues to have a problem with. He could have probably handled that thing better. You don't hear Fred Taylor mention it along with these other guys. Whose fault is that? That's nobody's fault. The key thing is, maybe it's hurt Tony. He didn't play in the Super Bowl. That counts for something. That gets them on that stage and plants a seed when they get done playing. Hey, you were a champion, or you got close to playing for a championship. Is that fair? I don't know. I'm not in that room. But, with Taylor, he has no momentum right now. That's why that's why guys like Tony Boselli, Steve Atwater, that's why they should feel a little bit better, is they made that cut from 15 to 10, which means they were presented in the room for the voters, and those voters are now going to be more familiar with those players when the vote comes next year.
All right, Ryan, thank you so much for joining us, and certainly hope that the rest of training camp and the preseason goes well for you.
Okay, take care. Thank you now.
Absolutely. You as well. That is Ryan O'Halloran of the Denver Post, formerly the Times-Union. He now covers the Broncos, and I'm sure is enjoying the fact that training camp started a week early. It certainly sounded like that. All right, when we come back, we are going to have Hayes the Hammer and a little hammer time. That is next on The Frangie Show on 1010XL.
Now, the Lamb Rant, brought to you by the Best Bet Card Rooms at Jacksonville and Orange Park.
The PGA Tour has continued to massage its playoff format for several years. The boys and girls down at the Ponte Vedra Beach headquarters think they finally have it right. We'll see. The playoffs have been trimmed from 4 to 3 tournaments, part of the master plan to end the golf season before everyone's attention turns to football. We'll have to see about that too, since nearly every fan eats, drinks, and sleeps football 12 months a year. Still, not going head-to-head against real football games does feel like a good move. Now, the tour can only hope that fans understand how a champion will be determined. There's a big cut from Week 1 to Week 2 to the Tour Championship. There's something akin to a reverse handicapping system benefiting the best players. There's also a major boost in the payout. The eventual champion gets a $15 million bonus. I'm still a little foggy on some things. I think I'll just sit back and enjoy the golf.
The Frangie Show, live from the law offices of Brett Hastings Studio on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
When you need a trusted plumber for your home,
call TNT Plumbing.
You'll always have a licensed plumber in your home with TNT. Call or text 508-3455. 508-3455.
TNT Plumbing, quality craftsmanship, and dynamite customer service.
Attention Jags fans, Money Pages is giving away 4,000 preseason tickets to celebrate the 25th season of the Jacksonville Jaguars. This is your chance for you and a friend to win free preseason tickets. All you have to do is download the free Money Pages app today, and you can enter to win. The savings don't stop there. When you download the free Money Pages mobile app, you'll unlock great local savings on the go. Good luck, and go Jaguars!
No purchase necessary. At least 18. Void outside Florida and Georgia. See moneypagesticketgiveaway.com for entry dates and official rules.
Gentlemen, discover the new medical treatment that Viagra doesn't want you to know about. I'm Bradley I with Synergenics Elite Health, and we offer GainsWave. It's a simple 20-minute in-office procedure. GainsWave is non-invasive, and it restores the poor blood flow that causes ED. Stop popping pills and scheduling intimacy. Call 904-500-5500. Consultations are free. Mention this radio station for $150 off your first treatment. Call Synergenics Elite Health at 904-500-5500 to learn about the GainsWave ED treatment today.
Winning is more than fun. 1010XL.
Exciting news from Diamonds Direct. We're moving. Thanks to the way you've embraced our unique concept, we've totally outgrown our current showroom. So, we're upgrading. Moving to a brand new store that's 50% larger with an even larger selection to serve you. The new Diamonds Direct is opening very soon off Town Center Parkway just left of the Hyatt. It's a freestanding building with a stunning new showroom with incredible lake views and more fine jewelry than you've ever seen in one place. Same great people, same great industry-leading warranties and guarantees, same unbeatable values. But it's in a new, spacious, modern, and luxurious showroom with even more diamonds, more designer jewelry, more engagement ring mountings, more bands and bracelets and pendants and earrings. It's the best selection in all of Florida. At Diamonds Direct, our passion is celebrating love and new beginnings, and now we invite you to join us in celebrating this new chapter in our life. Diamonds Direct, upgrading to an all-new showroom opening soon off Town Center Parkway, just left of the Hyatt behind Firebirds.
Your AC's broke, it ain't no joke. Call Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. FloridaHomeAC.com.
Brian and Angela Wall here with Window World. By now, everyone has heard about saving money on their energy bills. There are all sorts of things you can do to cut energy costs, but most people don't think about their windows.
But Window World knows that the biggest energy loss in almost every home is the windows. There is more energy loss from old builder-grade windows than just about anything else in your home.
You can upgrade your heating and air, your appliances, that's good too. But before you do all that, upgrade your windows to Window World's energy-efficient windows.
Window World's windows are easy to clean, energy efficient, and have the best guarantee in the business.
Window World's slogan is simply the best for less, and we mean it. You get great American-made windows, and you get to keep more of your money when you buy from Window World. Need any more reasons to buy your windows from Window World? Call them today and set up your free in-home estimate, or go online to windowworldneflorida.com.
Window World, simply the best for less.
Thank you for your business.
Window World also offers energy-efficient doors and siding.
Packer here for Blue Chew and BlueChew.com. Gentlemen, have you lost confidence when it comes to the bedroom? Well, it can happen to the best of us, right? Well, let me fill you in on something that will get your confidence back, and that's Blue Chew. What is Blue Chew? Well, Blue Chew is the first chewable performance enhancement for the bedroom. And the great thing about chewables, they can work up to twice as fast than regular pills. Guys, at BlueChew.com, your online physician consult is absolutely free. It only takes a few minutes to connect with a BlueChew.com affiliated physician. And if you qualify, you get prescribed online quickly. One of the best parts, no trips to the doctor or the pharmacy. That's because Blue Chew is sent directly to your front door in discreet packaging. Gentlemen, go to BlueChew.com, enter promo code JAX. That's JAX. When you do that, your first order of Blue Chew is free with only $5 shipping. Trust me, gentlemen. Go to BlueChew.com, enter promo code JAX, that's JAX, and get your confidence back. And get it back with Blue Chew.
Turn up the heat on the Duval Honda Hot Seat. Buckle up for the inside stuff when players and NFL experts join Jaguars today from 10 to noon on 1010XL. Duval Honda. We deliver on price and service. We deliver to you. The closest Duval dealer is in your driveway.
Hammer time.
It's Hammer Time with our hammer, Hayes Car Lion, presented by the law office of Stephen Doty. Legal representation you can afford. Here's Hayes Car Lion.
Sometimes we swing the hammer out of anger. Sometimes we're indignant over somebody's decisions. And sometimes we swing the hammer because it's kind of fun. This would fall into one of those. DJ Cooper, a basketball player who's trying to hold on to his professional career, he's 28 years old, received a 2-year suspension from FIBA because he failed a drug test. That's not all that surprising. It's certainly not all that uncommon. But the reason in which was a little unique. I think this is going to give DJ Cooper a little bit of fame for a while. It was revealed that he used his girlfriend's urine instead of his own to try and pass the test. The problem is that she is pregnant.
Ooh.
So, so a hormone showed up that only shows up and if you have a placenta. And so FIBA has suspended Cooper for 2 years because of this.
Well, he gets to spend time with his new
he does.
child.
Yes. So very strict. Very strict. He was attempting to play for the Bosnian national team. So very long suspension. So I feel bad for DJ Cooper. But in the list of criminal mastermind plans that we have heard of, using your pregnant girlfriend's urine to try and get by on the drug test, not the way to go.
Now, this may be a question you don't know the answer to, but is this how they found out she was pregnant? Is that he got
that would be
wind of
interesting.
this?
Yeah, it's a great question. I do not know the answer to that.
Can you imagine if that's the case?
Yeah.
You get the test results back in the mail, and it's like, A, you're suspended because you falsified information, because B, your girlfriend is pregnant. And that is not the way anyone would want to find out such
Maybe they'll
information.
name the child Appeal.
That's a beautiful name.
Yeah. Hey, Gwyneth Paltrow had Apple with
right?
Chris Martin. So
Sure, so it could still be
Appeal,
spelled
I don't think is
Apple.
that far
No,
down
it could
the
still be
road.
spelled that, and they just say appeal.
There you go.
Well done, Hayes. That is Hammer Time, and it is brought to you by the Law Office of Stephen Doty, efficient and affordable legal representation. You can reach Stephen at 416-8328. All right, CBS has some NFL hot seat rankings. You might be surprised who is number one on the list. That is next. You're listening to The Frangie Show on an Nimnik Tuesday on 1010XL.
The Frangie Show, live from the law offices of Brett Hastings Studio on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
It's Cliff Averill one more time.
I'm Cliff Averill of the Seattle Seahawks and Clay High School on Jacksonville Sports Radio, 1010XL.
Cliff Averill has been a machine tonight.
Nimnik Chevrolet is the #1 Chevrolet dealership in Jacksonville, and they just won Dealer of the Year for 2018. Some of the reasons they're #1 is that they have the most inventory and the best price guarantee. They've been serving and donating to this community for 78 years, and no one cares more about the customers before, but more importantly, after the sale.
That's Nimnick Chevrolet. Head there today, won't you? Nimnick, your friends in the car business since 1941.
Warning. This product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. The world is changing. Isn't it time smoking changed too? Meet Vuse Alto, a vapor product offering you a satisfying alternative to cigarettes with long-lasting pods filled with liquid blended in the U.S. Vuse Alto delivers our highest performing vapor yet. Simple to use, surprisingly quiet, and impressively powerful. Vuse, leading the way today, tomorrow, and in the future. Underage sale prohibited.
John's Auto has been in Jacksonville for 32 years. That doesn't happen by cheating customers. At John's Auto, their reputation is in its work. Top quality for a lower price. It's full service at John's Auto. Brake, shocks, alignment, transmission, front end repair, tires, and they specialize in AC repair, whether it's the repair itself or getting your AC coolant checked. John's Auto, Arlington Road. Call 743-3857, a family-owned business.
If you are drowning in IRS debt and can't afford to pay, then you need to take advantage of the special IRS tax programs that are available and will free you from IRS collection efforts once and for all. Due to the financial hardships consumers are facing throughout the country, the Internal Revenue Service has made it easier to settle delinquent tax problems. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and can't afford to pay them back, or you even have years of unfiled tax returns, there's no need to live in fear, but you have to call the Community Tax Helpline. Do not take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even go after your Social Security check.
Call Community Tax today, 800-642-9531 to end your tax troubles. Call now, 800-642-9531. Get a free consultation. Call 800-642-9531. That is 800-642-9531.
Jumbo Shrimp Baseball presented by Community First with tickets starting at just $5 is home all weekend. Tomorrow is Publix Corks and Forks and our final Standard Feed and Seed Dog Day, followed by Budweiser Thirsty Thursday. And Napa Auto Care Family Fireworks on Red Shirt Friday. The first 2,000 fans on Saturday get a free lunch bag courtesy of Baptist Health, and we have a post-game Christian concert. Call 358-2846 or jackshrimp.com.
The best of XL Primetime Replay is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, helping you be the best when you play.
Well, to be quite honest with you, the reason why I punched was because I didn't want people to get on me to realize how I wasn't that strong. Come on. I wasn't. I really wasn't. I mean, if me and Baselli were probably the worst benchers in Jaguar history.
If you're an experienced welder or pipe fitter, Local 234 Plumbers and Pipe Fitters is looking for you now. They provide competitive pay and great benefits that are no cost to you. That's $29.84 an hour, and with those benefits, you'll be earning $44 an hour. Join an organization with thousands of members that have the same goal as you, to get the job done right. Visit UA234.com to send your resume today. Local 234. Make the right connection.
When you're the victim of another person's negligence, the facts are everything. I'm talking about the fact that you're in pain, the fact that you can't work and the bills are piling up, the fact that your life is not on the same track it was before the injury. Here's a fact. Your future's in jeopardy. Call me, Eddie Farah, at 396-5555 or go to farahandfarah.com. I will fight to help you get your life back, and that's a fact. Farah and Farah, protecting you and your family. Jacksonville.
Mavis Discount Tire.
We've been saving people money for over 50 years. Now at Mavis Discount Tire, save even more. Right now, get up to $100 back on 4 select Goodyear tires. You always save on tires at Mavis Discount Tire. Visit MavisTire.com to find a store near you.
Mavis Discount Tire. America's discount tire store.
Legal and other restrictions apply. See stores for rebate details.
This summer, beat the heat with cool stuff from Hardball Creative. They can place your company logo on anything. Softball team need new shirts? Call Hardball today.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all.
From the locker room to the sideline.
All day, let's go.
No one knows the Jaguars like Johnny O. Oh, yeah. Hear Jaguars.com's John Osher on Jaguars Today. Brought to you by Florida Pump Service. We make water happen on 1010XL.
More of The Frangie Show now on a Nimnick Tuesday. Nimnick, your friends in the car business since 1941.
Always a Nimnick Tuesday here on The Frangie Show. Frank Frangie is up in Baltimore as the Jaguars practiced against the Ravens for the second time today. We will check in with him right at 5 o'clock. Until then, we're going to talk a little CBS Hot Seat rankings as Hayes, Gibby, and I are back in Jacksonville. I'm not going to start with number one, but I'm going to get to number one pretty quickly, Hayes. They've got Cliff Kingsbury 10, Mike Zimmer 9, Matt Patricia 8, Ron Rivera 7, Kyle Shanahan 6, Pat Shurmur 5, Jason Garrett 4. That one's no surprise. I feel like he's always on the hot seat. Dan Quinn 3. That one's interesting. Jay Gruden 2. Okay, now I'll get to number one. Doug freaking Marrone, the head coach of your Jacksonville Jaguars, he has on the hot seat. Or CBS, I should say, has on the hot seat.
Yeah, I was surprised that Doug was first. Is it a big year for Doug Marrone? Absolutely. He probably needs to win 9. But you don't get a sense a lot of times. Like if I'm thinking hot seat, I'm thinking guys that can get like fired in week 5 and week 6, and I don't see that. Even if the Jaguars were to get off to a slow start, there's no one on staff I think they'd want to turn it over to necessarily. So I really get a sense that Doug's going to coach at least the first 13 games. Now, could they do something very late in the year if it's just a disaster, possibly? But I don't think – I think it's a tough ranking because, one, I think he might do what he's supposed to do, which is win 9 or 10 games and get in the playoffs, or at least take it all the way to week 17 in contention for the playoffs. And I don't think it's quick. I would have gone – I always think of who's going to be the first guy fired. And I don't see Shad Khan pulling the plug on a coach 6 games in. I don't think Tom Coughlin would do it. I mean, Tom Coughlin, some of his greatest teams struggled out of the gate. And if they had, canned him after 6 or 7 games, a great run would not have happened. So I don't see this being a culture where that's going to happen. I could definitely see it in Washington with Jay Gruden. I could see it in Atlanta with Dan Quinn, because if I'm Arthur Blank and I'm looking at all the talent the Falcons have, I start worrying about Matt Ryan's window, Julio Jones's window, assuming this is a year that gets off to a bad start. I don't think Quinn is probably in any danger of getting fired early in the year, but I think he's a guy that if he does not, I think he's under maybe even more pressure than Marrone.
I agree.
I think Dan Quinn needs to almost win the NFC before I think Arthur Blank is at least calling the Lincoln Rileys, the elite head coaches out there in college, saying, do I need to make a move here to really get over the top? Dan Quinn was a serviceable hire. He wasn't considered a brilliant, choice. And he's done some good things, but obviously the Super Bowl collapse looms large, and they've underachieved since. Jason Garrett, you hit the nail on the head. He just perpetually seems like he's on the hot seat. I think Pat Shurmur is a guy that could certainly go quick in New York. That's a market where
Feels
that
like
happens.
he just got hired, though.
He does. It does, but I could see that. Shanahan, maybe. I think Shanahan would be at the end of the year. Rivera, I don't see it. Matt Patricia is somebody that could be in some. I probably would have Patricia higher than 8th. Zimmer, I don't sense a ton of that, but he's maybe a poor man's Dan Quinn in that regard, where if you're the owner looking at it, you've made this massive investment in Kirk Cousins. So if you do miss the playoffs again, it could be it for Mike Zimmer, but I think that would be the end of the year. And Cliff Kingsbury, I mean, it would have to be just a utter debacle, I think, for ownership to fire him after 1 year when
I don't
you've
think
got
he deserves to be on
a
this
rookie
list.
quarterback. Yeah, so when you've got 32 names, there's some guys on here I wouldn't have. But yeah, I don't see Marrone should be on the list. If you're ranking 10 guys, absolutely Doug Marrone should be on the list, because if he goes 7-9, I don't think he's coming back. So I get being on the list. I wouldn't have him 1, because I think I will be surprised if there aren't at least, even if Doug gets fired, I'd be surprised if there aren't at least 2 coaches fired before we even get to Doug.
Gibby, what do you think about Dan Quinn?
Frustrated a little bit because they should never underachieve with the talent that they have. To your point, Hayes, I mean, the Matt Ryan window is not going to be open for very much longer. I mean, the guy is still in his mid-30s, but still, quarterbacks are playing the game longer, but it's like at the end of the day, you have to get it done if you have a franchise quarterback like Matt Ryan. And for me, it just gets frustrating because every single nationally televised game with the Falcons, it's always, Dan Quinn just couldn't quite get that Super Bowl. The collapse was just of epic proportions, as everybody remembers that Super Bowl. So I think he's on a short leash if you look at Dan Quinn. I think if he doesn't get it done in the next year, they probably move on.
Well, and I read that Arthur Blank was furious, basically, that the Super Bowl held in Atlanta did not feature his Falcons.
He should be.
He should be, yeah.
I mean, the NFC is loaded, and I understand that. But what Atlanta has, and they were hurt with defensive injury. They were almost the opposite of the Jaguars last year. They had so many injuries on the defensive side. The Jaguars had theirs on the offensive side. So, I can see why Arthur Blank was like, okay, yeah, we were beat up on defense. Let's try it again. But, I think Atlanta could hire a star. I mean, that is a job to me that, if you want to see who Lincoln Riley might choose, I'd choose that. I mean, talk about particularly if Calvin Ridley starts coming on. That offense is just got ridiculous talent. So I think it is a big year for Dan Quinn. And
the other part too, Hayes, is that the defense was what Dan Quinn was brought in to fix, and it's still a recurring problem. Now, injuries have certainly played a factor into that. Keanu Neal went out last year. Deion Jones is a Pro Bowl type player. He went out. But at the end of the day, you've got to fix the defense. No matter what happens, he was brought in to fix it.
Meanwhile, I'm not very happy, going back to the Redskins, that my guy, Dwayne Haskins, is listed as third on the depth chart behind Colt McCoy and Case Keenum. What in the world are they thinking?
I didn't get that either. And I assume it's the typical,
he's a
rookie yeah. And these guys are veterans. But if Dwayne Haskins is having the third best camp in Washington, the Redskins are in real trouble.
And so am I, because I'm going to have to eat crow.
But, yeah, I would think that's more get through the first preseason game with, the veterans and protecting the culture and the locker room. But you'd like to think that by the time you get to, week 2, week 3, that Haskins is moving up that board. I could see him not being the week 1 starter because, it's more to me more because of Keenum. Colt McCoy, I think, is terrible. Colt McCoy should be thankful that he's earned as much money playing in the NFL as he has. Case Keenum is actually not that far removed from having an unbelievable year. So it was a struggle for him last year in Denver, but I wouldn't view it as a negative if Dwayne Haskins couldn't beat out Case Keenum in one training camp. You'd like to think that it doesn't take long for him to do it. But, if Colt McCoy is their starter, Jay Gruden will be fired. He will be the first coach fired because they will open 1-3, 1-4, and, I don't think he'll survive that.
And I feel like I've read that Haskins has been having a pretty good camp, so I don't think that that his play has earned him that third spot. I think it's more like what you said. We're just making sure that you're a rookie. You don't feel like you're just handed the keys of the kingdom, so to speak. Although I don't know that you can call the Redskins franchise a kingdom right now. But either way. All right. When we come back, we're going to talk a little Gators football. There's some news that came out today. Not so good as far as DB depth there, but some other news as well. You are listening to The Frangie Show on an Nimnick Tuesday on 1010XL.
The Frangie Show, live from the law offices of Brett Hastings Studio on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Because we speak your language.
Nasty far right, 14 gut.
Box left gun zoom, scan left jalapeno.
1010XL 92.5 FM.
Hey, if you want an insurance agent, let me recommend Craig Dewhurst from State Farm. Call him at 940-9740. Whatever it is you need in the world of insurance, Craig can handle it for you. Automotive insurance, life insurance, homeowners, he's got it all. He'll also help you set it up. People really don't know. I tell you this all the time. What insurance to buy, how much to spend, how big your deductible should be. Go to a professional that's a good guy that wants to help you get it right. Greg Dewhurst, State Farm. Call him at 940-9740.
If you're facing surgery or taking medications for erectile dysfunction, there is an alternative solution, Core Wave Therapy. This is Dr. West, board-certified urologist with the McKeever Clinic. With Core Wave Therapy, you'll experience an ED solution with many benefits over traditional therapies such as surgery or pills. The procedures are short, painless, and have no downtime.
Call 355-6583 or visit McKeeverClinic.com. That's MCIVER. McKeever Clinic, innovators in urological care since 1921.
For the best price and service when it comes to your waste hauling and collecting, look no further than the A-Team at All-American Roll-Off and Recycling. Jet Prosser here, and let me tell you, you're not going to find an easier way to handle your project cleanups than calling in the A-Team at All-American. A J.B. Coxwell company, All-American Roll-Off and Recycling has brand new trucks and cans in all sizes to fit your project needs. No hidden fees. Count on the best price in town. When it comes to cleaning up when the job is done, go with the A-Team at All-American Roll-Off and Recycling. Visit us at all-americanrolloff.com.
Dave Benyon here with Zerorez. My sons and I just cleaned a massive church building, and wow, did the carpets look great when we were done. If your church, place of business, or office floors need cleaning, give Zerorez a call. That same great process that works in your home works at your work. If your workplace needs cleaning, tell the boss to call Zerorez. We'll be glad to come and do a free estimate. For the month of August only, we are offering 20% off all commercial carpet cleaning. Zerorez spelled forward or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists helps you be the best when you play and brings you
the best of Into the Night Replay.
I've been saying it all along. You know, who is your third down back? Who is going to catch the football? They're working hard with Leonard Fournette in this situation. Right now, if he can stay healthy, I think 40 footballs at the minimum I would expect him to catch this year. At the minimum.
What's up, North Florida poker fans? This is Allie McDeal from both Best Bet Card Rooms in Jacksonville and Orange Park. The World Poker Tour returns to Jacksonville September 27th with 22 total events and over $1.3 million in guarantees. The $5,000 buy-in Best Bet Bounty Scramble will host 30 of the most acclaimed celebrities from around the world. Knock out any of the celebrity bounties and get $2,500 on the spot. Take part in all the glory and fame at this year's WPT Series. For more information, visit them on the web at bestbetjacks.com. Best Bet, where anybody can win.
Exciting news from Diamonds Direct. We're moving. Thanks to the way you've embraced our unique concept, we've totally outgrown our current showroom. So, we're upgrading. Moving to a brand new store that's 50% larger with an even larger selection to serve you. The new Diamonds Direct is opening very soon off Town Center Parkway just left of the Hyatt. It's a freestanding building with a stunning new showroom with incredible lake views and more fine jewelry than you've ever seen in one place. Same great people, same great industry-leading warranties and guarantees, same unbeatable values. But it's in a new, spacious, modern, and luxurious showroom with even more diamonds, more designer jewelry, more engagement ring mountings, more bands and bracelets and pendants and earrings. It's the best selection in all of Florida. At Diamonds Direct, our passion is celebrating love and new beginnings, and now we invite you to join us in celebrating this new chapter in our life. Diamonds Direct, upgrading to an all-new showroom opening soon off Town Center Parkway, just left of the Hyatt behind Firebirds.
They're out to test our reputation as the best plumber in Jax, so we gotta play like the experts we are. Now, who are we?
Roland Reese Plumbing!
Now that's what a winner sounds like.
Customers always win with Roland Reese Plumbing at PlumbingJacksonville.com.
Hey Jacksonville, Safety Tom here with Remedy Staffing. With the heat blazing, it's time to break out the cold water, fruits, and veggies. Put away the large hot meals for lunch, and grab some shade in a nice cool area during breaks at work. If you're new to the job, pace yourself. This goes for at home as well. Long days at the beach, kids' sporting events, doing work around the house. Keep the water flowing for you and your family. And remember, don't wait until you're thirsty. Drink plenty, early, and often. These are just a few simple tips for staying cool and hydrated from Remedy Staffing.
With hurricane season now here, the only weather you need to be concerned about is whether your homeowner's insurance policy will cover you in the event of storm damage. Ask about Southern Oak Insurance today.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
Watch this. Get your golf weekend started early during Brunch with the Tour. Tour news, tips, and inside info brought to you by Pella Windows and Doors. Breakfast provided by Chick-fil-A.
Now I'm really hungry.
Wednesday morning on 1010XL.
More of The Frangie Show now on a Nimnicht Tuesday. Nimnicht, your friends in the car business since 1941.
C.J. McWilliams, he's going to be out for the year with a torn Achilles. He ruptured his Achilles.
he's going to be out for the year, and that's a tough one. Non-contact injury. Early in practice, just planted and drove and felt the pop.
That is the head coach of the University of Florida football team, Dan Mullen, talking about yet another defensive back, that is C.J. McWilliams, lost to a torn Achilles. There are certain injuries, Hayes, that my stomach churns when I hear it, and torn Achilles or ruptured Achilles is one of those.
Anything with the Achilles is bad. One of the worst horror scenes in a movie that I've ever seen.
Oh gosh,
it still sends chills up my spine.
I'm gonna have nightmares.
Is
tonight.
the scene in Pet Sematary? So if you've seen Pet Sematary, I haven't seen the remake, so I'm talking about the old one that came out in like the late '80s. But if you remember the movie, you'll remember what I'm talking about. Yeah, anything with the Achilles is not good. So it's.
I thought you were going to describe it.
Nah, I'm going to save you guys. Yeah, save you guys that. But it's really unfortunate. Unfortunately it's happened a lot to Florida. Marcel Harris tore his Achilles in a summer workout.
Mm-hmm.
That was certainly a major blow for Florida a couple years ago. This, I don't think this is more of depth, more special teams than anything else, but their numbers are just so tight at corner that you do worry about, as long as they have Henderson and Wilson and Dean, I think they're in good shape there, but you do wonder, you still have a 12-game season to go through, and there aren't a lot of guys there. So offensive line and corner, they're going to really need some true freshmen to at least be willing to be the next man up and be reliable if they get called into action, because there's not a lot of depth at either spot. So you're looking at, if you get an injury there, you're looking at a really young guy having to go in there and play a pretty tough spot in the SEC.
And Dan Mullen has even talked about some of the linebackers having to potentially step in at that star position. It's really a hard-hitting kind of nickelback. But
right.
This is the third cornerback they've lost pretty recently after Brian Edwards decided to transfer. You've got Brad Stewart Jr. and John Huggins, who have not been practicing. Huggins is a situation where Mullen keeps calling it a family issue and said today that there is a timetable for his return, but he wouldn't tell anybody what that is. I don't know. I have no idea what the family issue is, but I do know that information was released today about some incidents that he had on campus where he was accused of choking a tutor on campus. And so that is certainly very concerning. Mullen said that the reason he's not practicing, though, has nothing to do with that incident, but certainly you don't want to hear about that. But yeah, Brian Edwards had been arrested for misdemeanor battery, so he decided to transfer. And I think, by the way, Dan Mullen has done a good job. When someone has any sort of violence towards a woman, she is no longer on the team. And that even includes the coach that had some stuff, and I forget exactly what he was dealing with.
Oh, yeah,
the phone,
support
text
staff.
messages and stuff.
Right, yeah. And that got dropped, but he had already been removed.
And then, of course, Chris Steele, the 4-star, had already decided to transfer. Originally, he said it was because his roommate, Jalen Jones, was someone he didn't want to live with, but then he ended up deciding to go to Oregon. And so he had also said, homesick possibly, but then it ended up not in California. So either way, they're ending up with.
And then he went to USC.
And then he ended up going to USC. Yeah. So I'm not sure what they have behind, really, like you said, those starters at this point. But it's something to be concerned about for Dan Mullen. Now, Robbie Andrew said there are a couple guys to keep your eye on. Who are those guys?
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. Robbie Andrew, the Gainesville Sun, took one guy on each side of the ball, and he went with Malik Davis on offense, the running back, and said that everybody obviously is going to focus on LaMichael Pirine, and everybody was impressed with Pierce last year as a true freshman with his physical nature of running. But he says Malik Davis has looked great coming back from the injuries. So he is such an explosive player. I mean, I still remember that run he had against Tennessee a couple years ago where he ended up fumbling at like the 1. But he was having such a great game then and really carried that forward until he suffered a knee injury against Georgia. Looked good early last year, then got hurt again. So I could see that. I could see Malik Davis. They're going to really feed Pirine the ball. He's going to get a ton of touches. But I think Malik Davis could be somebody that has a really gaudy yard per carry average. because I don't know that he's going to get it tons of carries, but I think the carries that he gets, he's going to be able to do a lot of good things with. So that was cool to see. And then Tadaro Slayton was Robbie Andrews' player on defense, the defensive tackle. What'd you make out of that?
Well, I liked the fact that he still remembers Benny Snell running all over them and down Florida's throat. Of course, the running back from Kentucky, now in the NFL. I think Slayton had a lot of hype coming in, and I think it's time now with all the departures that Florida's had on that defensive line to step up, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do. You know, we don't get nearly as much news out of, I feel like, the college training camp, or not training camp, but the fall camp practices for them as we do out of the NFL. And it makes sense, but it's still, I want videos tweeted constantly so I can see what these guys look like for Florida State, for Miami, and for Georgia.
Yeah, and it's a totally different world in terms of media access. I will say with Slayton, it does feel like you get into that year where it's year 3. You can start to kind of smell the NFL draft. You're now eligible for it. And, in Robbie's blog, he says he's lost like 30 pounds of, good weight to lose. So, maybe Tadaro Slayton is a kid that, is supremely motivated to have that big-time year and get his name in the draft and move on and make a lot of money. So we'll see. I think it would be huge for the defense because I think he's more talented athletically than the guys in front of him, but you can't blow the assignments. And to Robbie's point, you miss your run fit, and there goes a 50-yard touchdown run for Kentucky to seal the game. So it's going to be exciting to see. I thought Dan Mullen talking today, a lot of today's press conference was about mentality and leadership and character, not so much X's and O's. The Gator scrimmage, I guess, yesterday, and he gave nothing great on that. He was like, they were solid, and
he's good at manipulating.
Yeah, so
the media as to what he wants to say.
There wasn't really a whole lot there, but he went. So at the press conference, ventured more into character, and he talked about alpha dogs and how he made a really good point, and this is again the essence of building a program, and Florida's just not there yet. He said, we don't really have alpha dogs. He's like, Dak Prescott was an alpha dog. He's the best one I've ever had. Guys that it just comes natural. Not only do they say the right thing at the right time, but their production backs it up. And everything that they say, everything they do is for the benefit of the team. And he said that's rare. And he says we have some guys that he thinks want to be alpha dogs and, have that in them, but haven't really seen it. And he makes a good point because the name that he kind of asked it to the room, who would you guys say? And a couple reporters said Jared Davis. And Mullen's response was, yep, that's the name. That's the name I hear when I ask, about who was the alpha dog around here. Well, he's been out of Florida for like 2 years now. I mean, it's been a while, so there's a lot of guys on the roster didn't even play with Jared Davis. So to Mullen's point, they don't have that. Clemson's got those guys. Clemson has guys that played with Deshaun Watson, who was an ultimate alpha dog. Alabama's got alpha dogs every single year. They've got several of them that not just excellent players, but go about their business the right way in everything they do. And that's a really fascinating aspect of it's something we don't think a ton about, but it shows you how Mullen's program at Florida is still very much a newborn, and it hasn't been able to really go through that growth of several years of success where you really do start to have guys that came into the program with the same staff, go through it with very little turnover, same head coach, and really get to that, senior year where they can start to really pass down everything. And Florida won't have that, for a couple more years. But it was interesting to hear Mullen talk just about that. At least for me, I sort of forgot that, Florida's had good guys, and he wasn't trying to rip last year's team. But his point was there's guys that are just they're good guys, and they're trying to do everything they can for them, for the team. But there's another level there that no one really is able to, at least at Florida with Mullen, hasn't been able to get there yet. He mentioned Pouncey twins when he was the offensive coordinator at Florida. But I thought it was interesting what he said about Dak Prescott, because he was asked even more so than Tebow, and he said Dak Prescott was more of an alpha dog than Tim Tebow.
And I think a lot of people were really surprised by that comment. All right, when we come back, Frank Frangie rejoins us. He is up in Baltimore. We will get the latest from the Jaguars going up against the Ravens day 2 today. And, of course, the first preseason game Thursday night. You can hear that right here on 92.5 FM and 1010 AM. We'll be right back on The Frangie Show on a Nimnik Tuesday on 1010XL.
The Frangie Show, live from the law offices of Brett Hastings' studio on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Get game day started early with a 1010XL kickoff show, powered by Coastal Equipment. Brought to you by Sawyer Gas and Mr. Reuter Plumbing with Lauren Brooks, Fat Tony Smith, and Hayes Carlin on 1010XL.
Hey, you want to have a great night out? You want to go to Alhambra Theater and Dining. My goodness, what a summer they've had. People are still raving about that Little Mermaid show, and now you can't wait to go see Mamma Mia when it comes. Oh, my goodness, is it good stuff. Look, you want great musicals, a really fun, entertaining night where you'll be glowing and smiling walking out of the place? Well, you want Alhambra. Oh, by the way, a 3-course meal. You're going to love the food. Plenty of free on-site parking, easy to get to on Beach Boulevard off of 295, very close to the town center. It's a great experience. Call 641-1212 or log on to alhambrajacks.com. Fun night out, great food, great entertainment. I'm telling you this, if you go, you're going to go back. You go to Alhambra one time, I guarantee you're going to go back. Call the number to get your tickets today at 641-1212 or log on to alhambrajacks.com.
Regency Electric Company seeks electricians and foremen with great benefits like paid vacation, paid holidays, paid life insurance with health, dental, vision, company match 401k plus end-of-the-year bonus. Call 485-4096, regencyelectric.com.
Termites cause billions in damages every year. At McCall Service, our promise is to keep our customers' homes termite-free. McCall is a preferred provider of the most effective, least invasive termite treatment available today, the Centricon Termite Colony Elimination System. Plus, McCall backs it up with a $1 million warranty for total peace of mind. At McCall, protecting you and your home for pest control, termite control, lawn care, bed bug elimination, and mosquito control. Call McCall! We do it all!
A-Coin Stamp Gallery has money for you. That's right, A-Coin and Stamp Gallery knows there's lots of unused or unwanted jewelry sitting around collecting dust. A-Coin turns that into cash. They buy, sell, and trade coins, gold, platinum, fine jewelry, Rolex watches, guns, and more. Visit Bill Hatchett and the professionals at A-Coin, 6217 St. Augustine Road, near University, for the money you need. Go online to a-coin.com to see all A-Coin can do for you.
A-Coin and Stamp Gallery has money for you. That's right, A-Coin and Stamp Gallery knows there's lots of unused or unwanted jewelry sitting around collecting dust. A-Coin turns that into cash. They buy, sell, and trade coins, gold, platinum, fine jewelry, Rolex watches, guns, and more. Visit Bill Hatchett and the professionals at A-Coin, 6217 St. Augustine Road near University for the money you need. Go online to a-coin.com to see all A-Coin can do for you. a-coin.com.
DivorceMenOnly.com. This is Kenny Lay of Kenny Lay & Associates. Our firm specializes in representing men in family law. That's all we do. That's our only focus. We can help with all of your family law needs, such as divorce, custody, alimony, and child support. For over a decade, we have helped thousands of men with these types of issues. We even have an appellate division ready to challenge a judge's ruling. If you need a family law attorney, go to DivorceMenOnly.com. DivorceMenOnly.com. Offices, Jacksonville.
David Garrard talks about his experience with Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Had surgery on my left knee. Dr. Murphy has done both of them, and so he's really helped me get back to my ability to get out and move around, play with the kids, and still feel like I'm a former NFL quarterback. Started to get a little older, and things stopped working like they should, and Dr. Murphy and Southeast Orthopedic truly come in and save the day.
For the best in orthopedic care, use Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Call Action Transmission Specialist on Merrill Road. We want to win your business with honest and upfront transmission service. I'm Robin Sidbury, the owner. That's a promise from me. Get traction. Call Action at 744-0755.
Hacker here for Blue Chew and BlueChew.com. What is Blue Chew? Well, Blue Chew is the first chewable performance enhancement for the bedroom. And the great thing about chewables, they can work up to twice as fast than regular pills. Guys, when you go to BlueChew.com, your physician consult is absolutely free. It only takes a few minutes to connect with a BlueChew.com affiliated physician. And if you qualify, guys, you get prescribed online quickly. One of the best things about Blue Chew, no awkward doctor visits, no trips to the pharmacy. That's because BlueChew.com will send you Blue Chew directly to your front door in discreet packaging. Guys, trust me. Go to BlueChew.com and our promo code JAX, that's J-A-X. When you do that, your first order of Blue Chew is free with only $5 shipping. Get your confidence back, gentlemen, and get Blue Chew at BlueChew.com. Remember to enter promo code JAX.
Brian and Angela Wall here with Window World. By now, everyone has heard about saving money on their energy bills. There are all sorts of things you can do to cut energy costs, but most people don't think about their windows.
But Window World knows that the biggest energy loss in almost every home is the windows. There is more energy loss from old builder-grade windows than just about anything else in your home.
You can upgrade your heating and air, your appliances, that's good too. But before you do all that, upgrade your windows to Window World's energy-efficient windows.
Window World's windows are easy to clean, energy efficient, and have the best guarantee in the business.
Window World's slogan is simply the best for less, and we mean it. You get great American-made windows, and you get to keep more of your money when you buy from Window World. Need any more reasons to buy your windows from Window World? Call them today and set up your free in-home estimate, or go online to windowworldneflorida.com.
Window World, simply the best for less.
Thank you for your business.
Window World also offers energy-efficient doors and siding.
Home of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
This is your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. I'm Andrew Gibson for 1010XL. This update brought to you by TIAA Bank. Jaguars wide receiver DJ Chark has had an impressive training camp so far. Nick Foles, the Jaguars quarterback, on what he's seen from Chark.
DJ's a talented receiver. He's a really talented route runner. He's a guy that comes to work every single day and just wants to get better. But just the receiving group as a whole, I think they're doing a nice job every day. We're able to talk through the different routes, the different scenarios, and then we're able to progress and take it onto the field and improve. So really, excited about working with them and proud of those guys for the strides they're taking.
Nick Foles, courtesy of Jaguars.com. They just wrapped up day 2 of joint practices with the Baltimore Ravens. Coming up next, we will check in live from Baltimore with Frank Frangie. At 5:03, 84 degrees. Your time and temperature brought to you by Bueller Air Conditioning. Stay cooler with Bueller.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Here, that means it's time for more football.
Football!
Football at 5.
5 o'clock somewhere.
On The Frangie Show.
It is the Frangie Show on an Imnick Tuesday. Hayes Carline, Andrew Gibson, Lauren Brooks with you in Jacksonville, FLA. Meanwhile, Frank Frangie up in Baltimore, Maryland. Frank, how was your bus trip back? Did you get some rest?
This one was way better. We got back. Yesterday we fought traffic and fought to get back, and I wanted to be back on with you guys at 5, and I think we pulled into the hotel at 3 minutes until 5. Our van, we take a van. We're not on the team bus. But this time we got out of there in good shape and actually had about 15 minutes to spare here. So much better trip today, and a good 2 days of work too, Lauren. I thought John Inzik rode back with us, and certainly he's a primary piece of the personnel department. And you could tell that there's good feelings there. It wasn't perfect. There's some concerns, but it feels like a different team, a team with a little different tempo. It's going to be fun watching them Thursday night. Now, you won't see a lot of the first-line guys Thursday night. But, it was a good 2 days of work for sure.
Was John on the phone with Yannick Ngakwe's agent?
When I was there, no. But, he did grab his phone and look away. I didn't know what they might have been texting. Is
there any more vibe on that up there?
Vibe, no. Opinion, I say vibe. Vibe's a broad word. A lot of people talking about it. There's no inclination to which way it may be going, Hayes, if that's what you're asking. There's not. I will tell you this. Just us bystanders watching, it's risky to play for $2 million
when $19 million is on the table. Now, forget about what side you take in this. Some people think the Jags should pay him $5 for $100 million. Some people think the Jags should stand their ground. That's a different conversation. We've had that conversation many times, right? We've been through that whole dialogue. The second part of that story, at least for me, and we have talked a lot about this now since we've been up here, is a sizable offer has been on the table. I assume it's still there. I do believe they're still working through it. I know Unique said the other day it's out of my hands. I don't even know now. Well, don't think for a minute the agent and the team aren't still talking. Boy, oh boy, I just think, again, you play for $2 million if that's your only option, right? But do you play for $2 million if 19's on the table? I asked around. I said, okay, the rumor is that they offered him 3 years for $19 million a year, right? He has tweeted, "Don't believe everything you read." So I asked if that number's close, and I'm told, I think I told you this yesterday, guys, I'm told by people that I trust that number's pretty close, that number is pretty doggone close. And there's some debate about how much of it's guaranteed. $40 million, I would think, a minimum is guaranteed. It's a risky proposition. Again, forget what side you're on. Forget whether you're on the Unique stand your ground side or the team, and the team should cave or Unique should take the deal. It's a risky proposition to play for $2 million if you got 19 on the table.
Frank, we had Ryan O'Halloran on earlier, of course, formerly of the Times Union, now of the Denver Post. He said he thinks that the Jaguars should come out, whether it be Tom Coughlin or Dave Caldwell, come out and express exactly what the Jaguars tried to do, or at least show the fan base what the plan was.
Yeah, and I don't know if I didn't hear that. I don't agree with that. Number one, I don't think that's protocol. I think once you do that, now you're grandstanding and you're negotiating through the media. I wouldn't do that. I do think they leaked it. I think the team wanted it out there, so I guess that's sort of negotiating through the media. But I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't. I don't think either the team or the player should say, "Here's our position." I think you know their position, so I would disagree with Ryan on that. As a media guy, I get it. We're in the information business, right? We're all trying to get information, so I get the point. I wouldn't do that. I think again, even if you're in the Unique's camp in this, it's risky. It's risky playing for $2 million. Now, if you trust that you're going to stay healthy, you're certainly not going to regress as a player. If you trust that you're going to stay healthy, then you take your chances here. I don't think he's getting to the market. All right, I don't. He's a free agent. They can franchise him again and again. I don't. Nobody wants it to come to that. I don't think it will come to that. But the point is, I'd be very surprised if he winds up playing for another team. Wouldn't you guys be surprised about that a little bit? If you look up and he's playing defensive end for the Panthers, wouldn't that surprise you?
I would be shocked, but I'm surprised it hasn't gotten done yet.
Well, so. I will tell you this, Hayes. I've got a pretty clear idea. 5 and 100. That's not where they are. For whatever reason, they don't think that's his value. Because I doubt very seriously. And we don't know what the Unique camp is asking for, but I doubt very seriously that it's more than 5 for 102 or whatever the number that keeps floating around for the other two guys, Clark and Lawrence. I doubt very seriously they're asking for more than that. It's clear that's not where the team is, and I can tell you, the people with whom I've spoken, the team's not budging on this one. The team believes $19 million is an awful lot for a third-year defensive end. And I don't think they're coming off it. Now, that number could be off a little bit, but again, as you know, Hayes, you learn more when you're around a bunch of guys, right?
Sure.
And they're all here. And from what I've been able to tell, and without going too deep into with whom I've spoken about this, I don't think the team's budging. I think the team feels like $19 million a year for a third-year player who's still under contract is a lot of money. It's not his contract year yet, so we'll see what happens. And again, I'm not taking either side on this. I see both sides of it. I see, hey, you know what, Jags, you finally got a guy you can really take care of. Take care of him. Why aren't you paying him? I see the Unique, hey, it's more money you ever thought you'd make in your life. Why don't you take that and be set for life? I see both sides of this thing, but I don't think the team's caving on this. I'm pretty confident of that.
Overall, how was Nick Foles these 2 days?
He was good, man. He was. I told you, tempo was good. They moved. They had a little rhythm to him, I thought. Boy, the deep balls he threw today were good ones. He missed a few yesterday. The deep ball, the one deep ball to Conley, everybody talked about. Because even Jaguars.com, they showed it on their Twitter. I think by now you guys have seen the deep ball. It was a thing of beauty. Did you see the deep one to Chark that was a little underthrown but still complete? Did anyone see that one? Is that, again, I haven't been around. I've been trying to go from place to place. I don't think I've seen that one. The one to Conley was up the left sideline. You guys all saw that by now, right? It was a beautiful throw in stride. The one Chark gave a little double move along the right sideline going the other direction, and Nick put that right on him. He is throwing balls down the field. He threw a corner route to D.D. Westbrook that was a thing of beauty. And I'm telling you, I'm not losing my mind. These receivers aren't bad. D.D. Westbrook is a bona fide star. You got to stay healthy. He's a little guy. I get it. Not only does he have to stay healthy, his quarterback's got to stay healthy, right? So there's a lot of – when you say a guy's going to be a star, there's a lot of things that have to play out. But I'll say it again, and I want to be very clear about this because someone's going to misquote me on Twitter. Lauren, Twitter wouldn't misquote me, would they? There's no way that'll happen, right?
Of course not, because 1010XL actually quotes you.
Yeah, okay, so Twitter would never misquote me. Don't misquote me, Twitter. Someone's going to say, Frangie said that D.D. Westbrook's better than Antonio Brown. Okay, so just trust me, that's going to be out on Twitter, right? But I can see 6'5" quarterback fires this thing to this lightning-quick 5'11" receiver who changes directions and is super fast and super shifty and catches everything. And I can see a little bit of the early Roethlisberger to Antonio Brown here. I can see it. I'm telling you. Nick Foles to D.D. Westbrook, it feels that way. It just feels that way. When Roethlisberger was throwing to Antonio Brown's a 6th-round pick, Mike Wallace was their guy. Remember that, Hayes? Mike Wallace, former Ole Miss guy, who runs 100 miles an hour. They thought he was the guy. They paid him, and he was going to be their superstar receiver. And this number 84 came around. I remember having this conversation with Prisco thinking, I think 84 is better. Prisco's the home run hitter is Wallace. I say, yeah, I know, but this Brown guy looks like he's pretty good. I think there's similarities. Again, let me be very clear. He's not Antonio Brown, but in style of play, I can see similarities. I really think D.D. Westbrook's a star. I think he is a megastar, and I think, again, you got to stay healthy now, but I think big things are coming. That was probably the most fun thing to watch is how quick he was. So much so, guys, he was back on punt return. They did a lot of punt return today. And obviously, they put the real punt return. Now, they're not hitting punt returners. They put the real punt returners back there. So the first guy to go back there was Keelan Cole. But Dede was right behind him. And I know Antonio Brown returns punts. I get it. I don't want him returning punts. Do you? Do you want? I don't want him out there. I want him when the offense is out there.
No,
that's the only time I want
like
him on the field.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah, I don't either. And so, but that probably was a storyline for me. It felt good. There's a palpable buzz about the team. I'll tell you that. You asked me in the first hit, Hayes, what did the Ravens media think? So after I got off with you guys, I was around more of the team staff. Now it's not really media; it's PR guys. It's part of the broadcast team. It's guys that have watched them. And the conventional talk about about the Jaguars is, you put a legitimate passing game with that defense, it's intriguing. Mike Tannenbaum, I think it was, it came out, really likes him. Gibby, I think you're the one, you retweeted that, I think, or liked it. I think there's a palpable buzz about what the Jags might be like if the defense holds to what it's been the last few years and there's a legitimate passing game to go with it. So that part was kind of fun.
Frank, the only video that the Jaguars tweeted out was Foles to Conley, but Tad Dickman, Jaguars PR, head of Jaguars PR, tweeted out a video of Foles to Pryor. That one surprised me just a little bit because we haven't seen Pryor really running with the ones very much.
Yeah, he may be in the red zone. I think that might have been a goal line deal, if I remember right. That if he makes the team, Lauren, and if they use him, that's how they'll use him. But again, I watched it again today. It was very clear their first three, and Keelan Cole's the fourth. I mean, I watched it. Every time it was 11 on 11 with the ones in there, I watched as closely as I could watch. It's very clear that their first three, and Keelan Cole is next up. Pryor is next up after that. C.J. Board is next up after that, and then nobody else goes in. So and C.J. Board doesn't go in very much, but he's clearly the sixth. If there is a sixth guy, he's behind Pryor. But I'll say it again: top three, then Keelan Cole, then Pryor. But again, Pryor's a big guy now, so situationally he can create some matchup problems in the red zone for sure.
Doug said Sunday that they might have a little bit of information midweek on Cam Robinson, Marquise Lee, Jake Ryan, guys on PUP. What were they able to do on the side? Did you notice anything different? And is there any buzz on when any of those guys might return? We know it obviously won't be this week, but any return on that?
I think tomorrow's we get the report on some of them. I know.
Okay.
I think tomorrow we get the Cam report. I don't know if we get the other guys. Hayes, I think we're going to learn tomorrow what's going to. I walked around with Cam a little bit today. He looks great. He feels great. I think that might be precaution more than I think. If they went to the Super Bowl and the Super Bowl was this week, Cam would probably play. I just think that's why would you rush him? These are 4 preseason games. Why would you? You know what I mean? Why are we in a hurry? It's September 11th. I know Baselli said to the guys on the drill today that he wouldn't be surprised if he starts the season, and he might. And when I saw Cam, he and Baselli were talking a long time today, so maybe Tony knows more than I do. But he looked pretty good. And to your question about what could they do, there were no drills with those guys. I saw Cam walking around. To be honest with you, I didn't see Marquise or Jake. I don't even know if they're here. Maybe they are. I know Cam's here.
I know Marquise is there.
Marquise is. I have not seen Marquise. I haven't seen him one time. Ryan. I haven't seen him at the hotel. I haven't seen him on a bus. So if he's here, I just haven't seen him. Cam, I've been around a lot. So I think we'll know this week. I think you'll have a better idea this week how they're going to do it. And it'll be fun to, again, when the game starts on Thursday night, I've been assuming all along that Cedric Ogbuehi would be the left tackle and Juwan Taylor would be the right tackle because it's his job. I mean, they want Juwan Taylor to be the right tackle. But today, the ones never looked like that today. After yesterday, me being smart guy telling you that deal was over, today Ogbuehi was the left tackle. Ogbuehi was the right tackle, and Josh Wells was the left tackle. And I told you guys this in our last report. I don't know if they're just trying somebody else or if Wells limped off. I couldn't tell. But the last series with the ones, the last 2 or 3 series, Leonard Wester, there's a household name for you, Brooks. Leonard Wester was the left tackle, not the right tackle. He was the left tackle, while Ogbuehi was the right tackle. And they went like that probably the last, 10, 12 plays. with Foles and Fournette and the regular receivers in the game. So it'll be interesting to see the way they play the offensive line come Thursday night.
I noticed Wester early in OTAs because his name kind of reminded me of Meester a little bit, and just from afar, I was like, "Oh, I wonder if he has any idea that a guy named Brad Meester played on the offensive line for a long time." Again, Wester's not that close, but still, I noticed him then, and then we certainly saw him Friday and Sunday playing sometimes with the ones. So they're certainly going through a lot of rotation. You've mentioned Leonard Fournette has played well. What about the guys behind him?
Blue has been in there. I know Rick said yesterday that he doesn't know who was up second. I think Blue's gone in second every time when I've been watching. So Blue's fine. Alfred Blue looks like the Alfred Blue looked in Houston. He's good, not great. That's what he is. He's good, not great. He's your backup. I think they would like Rock Armstead to be the backup. He hasn't been able to work up here, as you know. Thomas Rawls, I saw Thomas. I walked to the training room with Thomas. I was going back just to get a drink, and he was walking to the training room. And I asked him, he said, "You all right?" I said, yeah, I'm all right. He looked a little forlorn about it. In uniform, but couldn't work. So no Armstead, no Rawls up here. So an awful lot of work for Benny Cunningham. A lot of work now for Benny Cunningham, the journeyman 7th-year player. So they looked all right. Lauren, I don't know if they jumped off the page for me. I say this all the time. When you're not really hitting, you can't really tell on running backs and linemen for the most part. The 3 positions, at least for me, that you really can't tell much are running back, offensive line, and defensive line when there's no real hitting. There's thumping, but when nobody's being tackled to the ground, look, what's a running back do? He runs through tackles. He makes people miss in the open field, right? That's what running backs do. They block. Well, none of that's happening here. Linebackers, you can tell a little bit because you can see who's lost in coverage and who's not. At one point, they played base. They were in base, and it was play fake. And Leon Jacobs was in space covering, and that's not a good role for him. I'll tell you that right now. That's not a great role for him. So, there's some concerns there. The backup running backs, none of them really jumped off the page for me up here.
Frank, can you please give me a Jalen Ramsey update?
You mean the cornerback, Jalen, number 20? That guy?
Is he going to make the team?
Well, not only is he going to make the team, he's still looking good. He's got a little bit of the chippiness with him. But they've tried him twice now on deep balls down the right sideline, and it looked like a blanket covering a doggone cold person. He was just all over him. Jalen looks good. You know, everybody talks about the safeties, the concern of the safeties. I guess I was more concerned that, at least for me, I thought Trey Herndon struggled a little bit. I thought Quentin Meeks struggled a little bit. Breon Borders looks like he's kind of made a little bit of a move as that third corner, you know. When they started today in base, it was Trey Herndon and Jalen and then the two safeties, right? When they went to nickel, Borders came in and played corner, and Herndon moved inside to nickel. So with Boye and Hayden not practicing, the way the secondary looked was Herndon and Ramsey outside, and then when they went nickel, Herndon moved inside and Borders went outside. So yeah, a little bit. I think best I can tell, Hayes, Ramsey's going to be on the team, and they're probably going to start him. I think they're going to start him. I think he's on the team and starting. So it's been a good couple days up here. I'm telling you. Yeah, I know you are. It's been a fun couple days up here. It really has. NFL's in the area. It's got a feel to it. CC Sabathia out there today, by the way. How about that? Little hard ball.
How big is he in person?
Oh, gigantic. He looked like an offensive tackle. In fact, at one point, I'm on the field, standing kind of close to CC Sabathia. I just wanted to go up and talk. I went up and said hello to him. Congratulations on a terrific season and a terrific career. He said thank you, and that was about it. That was like our dialogue. But he wasn't that far away from Baselli and Cam, who were talking, and he looks kind of like them, Hayes. I mean, see, it's kind of like three guys are all kind of built the same, you know. And so he's a big old dude. That was kind of cool, though. CC Sabathia coming out to practice. I thought it was kind of neat.
That's awesome. And I think it's a good sign. It doesn't appear like there was any, I guess, real issue of a fight. I guess Leonard took exception to something that happened in the end zone. But it seems like the team really did listen to Doug Marrone and conducted themselves very professionally for 2 days, right?
There was no chippiness. I can tell you there was no chippiness at all. I mean, yeah, after the one touchdown, it was a little bit, but there wasn't much of that. It was fine. I have lost my. Hang on. I'm trying to find my Ravens roster because I'm going to tell you the guy that was chippy today. Matthew Judon. Do we know who that is? Is he a player?
You want me to drag him out of here?
I do. Matthew Judon.
He's a 27-year-old linebacker for the Ravens, 6'3", 260 out of Grand Valley State.
Okay, well, Matthew Judon out of Grand Valley State looked like to me he was looking to fight anybody who would fight him. He's the one guy that I thought settle down, Junior, okay? It's joint practices. He's the one guy in special teams beating his chest. Looked like he was doing a little trash talking. But and I said, who's 99? 99's chirping. So, but no, there wasn't a whole lot of that. It was a pretty simple deal. You know, you're up here to practice with another team. They practiced with another team. I think they got some work out of it. I'm guessing. What's your? Let's all guess because I don't know. Foles play, doesn't even dress, plays a series. Lauren, what do you think?
I'm going to say he plays a series. I hope he doesn't play at all.
Hayes?
I'm going to say doesn't play.
I'm going to say doesn't play. And I want to be clear, there's no information on that. We even tried to ask today. Nobody's saying what he's going to do, not going to do. Nobody's allowing that they know. We asked Doug point blank. He said, I'll decide tomorrow. He said that's usually something I work on the day before, and we get with our coaches, and the players don't even know. What we do know is he's not playing very much, right? I mean, I thought because he's new and because it's all new, put him out there and he plays, a series, 2 series. But I'm now wondering if he won't. I will say, again, and I've told you this by now, the backup quarterback's Gardner Minshew. There's no debating that anymore. They even kind of grouped the 1s and 2s together and then everybody else, and he's been with that group the whole time. My guess is he might play the whole half. I said that to the guys earlier. It wouldn't be surprising to me if Foles plays either 2 series, 1 series, or no series. I think Minshew plays the whole half, don't you? Because he's got to get the reps. Your backup's got to get the reps. The one thing you want to know with your backup is, can he play with the 1s? That's the only thing you're trying to find out in camp is, can your backup play with the 1s? So I think you play him with the 1s some. I think you'll see I would guess you'll see a good bit of that on Thursday night.
We will certainly find out. That game will be called by Frank Frangie alongside Tony Baselli and Jeff Lageman right here on 1010 XL. All right, Frank, we will check back with you in just a few minutes along with Rick Ballou. And then Helmets and Heels built by Dream Fenders Homes will take over. So we'll be right back on 1010 XL.
The Frangie Show, live from the law offices of Brett Hastings Studio on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
1010XL is your hometown team.
Everything's a challenge. Through adversity to the stars. From the last minute to the last man, we fight. We fight. We fight. We fight. We fight. We fight.
1010XL, where sports fans get together.
Hey, if you want great barbecue, you want Bono's. Fast, friendly service, clean family restaurants, and the best barbecue around. Man, I love Bono's. Love that all dark meat chicken. Love the ribs. It's the best ribs you'll ever have. I don't talk enough about the ribs. They are just so good. They also are the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. You see, the word is out. If you want barbecue in this town, you want the best. You want Bono's. 15 locations in town. No matter where you are, you're near the best barbecue around, because forever in this town, if you want barbecue, you've wanted Bono's.
Honda, I like it. Oh yeah, I like